welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another month, another edition here of the Platinum StarCraft 2 League October 2025 edition. I'm of course your VIP with you, joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. Unfortunately, no bunny cam, as I did mention previously, as unfortunately the camera has gone down and is no longer functional. Feels bad, man, feels bad. But regardless, we are live with a monthly tournament. Again, we've been covering the event for a couple of editions at this point, whether it's ourselves, whether it's Rotterdam, whether it's Dave Testa, whether it's another community caster. Whenever we are called upon, we are of course more than happy to step in and to step up. Exclamation mark be in the chat as the tournament is live. The bracket is live. The bracket is open, of course, all players, open to most players, I should say, and we'll be getting into the first game of the series. Let's go. Let us go. This morning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Finnish Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing himself, currently teamless. It is Mixu. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Pink Protoss representing among SC2 people. It is Rebellion. We go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our best of three. Likewise, if you're in the chat as well, I mean, to those in the chat, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Phaser for subscribing for 23 months, almost 2 years of support. God, thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it as always, Pappy. Likewise, big shout out to Morituri as well for subscribing for 21 months. Oh my god, 2 massive resubs. Thank you so much for the support as always. Gracias. Likewise, also a big shout out to Gemini. Gemini also did give us a very lovely raid, so thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, whether it was ladder session or even a cast as well. Hope you had a great time as we are setting up for no forge, by the way, but a pylon is in between the bases. We're being quite cheeky here from the side of Rebellion. Oh boy. Now with this, with the pylon completing, we can attempt to warp in across the map. I believe that's going to be the plan. The go-to is to get warp gate, is to warp in the adept across the map. I would imagine that's going to be the case here, as again, there is no forge, there is no cannon rush potential setup whatsoever. Pylon doesn't complete, and it is in the dark. I should say, sorry, Mixu is in the dark, as he has no idea what's going on, has no idea what is inside the house, papi. Yeah, warp gate is on the way, and we do spend the chrono on the Stalker initially. Interesting. But again, warp gate is going to have to finish up as soon to be able to make use of this pylon. And we'll see if it does go by unnoticed this entire time. Ooh, are we crazy? Are we crazy enough to go Twilight Council, Dark Shrine, and warp in DTs into the bases? No shot it lasts that long, right? No shot. That'd be crazy. For now, I'd imagine Glaive Adepts for now, but potentially Dark Shrine. As Mix is getting his third base up and running, joining up, saturating. Again, there's just been nothing to get vision on this. I mean, there's no reason for it. Workers that do rotate between the bases, I mean, there's no reason for them to get that close, I should say. Likewise, Overlords early on are designed, or they should be being sent out to get eyes on any kind of drop play and any kind of move out, anything threatening the bases. So there's no reason for there to be any vision here, at least not this early on. Later, you can start hiding Overlords behind your bases and behind your mineral lines, but that's later in the game. And we are going for it. DT's Dark Shrine. And we're going for the warp in into the main. He's crazy, Pappy. Oh my god. No, it's gonna work. Oh no, not like this, Pappy. Not like this. Dark Shrine is halfway done. Warp gate is complete. And yeah, again, there's no reason for this to be scouted. Oh, as the queens, they do actually, they do head in between the main boy. The boys are being pulled. So the queens do respond, the boys are being pulled as well to deal with this pylon. Interesting movement there at Mixu, but he does find this and he will shut this down. And as a result, this Dark Shrine won't really achieve too much here. I'm curious as to what it was that did tip Mixu off, bearing in mind that Mixu, he did not get across the map. He was not able to confirm the Dark Shrine or anything of the sort here. But regardless, they did shut it down at least. And we're going into... Oh, hello. You have my attention. Okay. We do have Blink on the way. We have Shadow Strider for the Dark Templar. Lings that do move in. They collapse on the Stalker, and they will get the kill. Not bad. One Stalker does go down. As DTs warp in, and I will say this, the opener here has fallen on his face, and now Rebellion is behind. By taking up this quickly into a Dark Shrine, this has to get damage done. Whether it's with DTs, whether it's Archon drops, but there's no Robo, right? There's no Robo, there's no War Prism, there's no way to get across the map. So these DTs, they're kind of dead weight, they're dead supply, and it means that Mixu is free to drone. He's free to drone up as freely as possible. We do have Roach Speed on the way, so he's building a bit of Roach Speed. We do have the Eva Chamber on the way as well, so Mixu is building up. Building up with 3 bases. And these DTs, they got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do here. As Mixu's investing in the upgrades, we have a handful of roaches out currently here for Mixu. There's a Spore in position here, as an Overseer as well. So Mixu's in position. And DTs, they won't find any damage here. They can trade. Yeah, they have to blink away. They have to blink away. The army for Mixu is solid. And we're going for the counterattack. We do have Overlord Speed on the way, so Mixu is going to commit in towards Drop Lords, in towards what should be a German taxi. So Overlord Speed into Drop Lords, into Roaches and Queens being sent across the map. I still wake or early sleep / wake up. I mean, we cast tournaments at this hour when we need to. That's not uncommon. I mean, hey, during the EPT Pro season, we would always cast all the European qualifiers as well. True. And during UWC. But yeah, sleep doesn't exist for the CranKy Ducklings. If we need to cast the tournament, we cast it. We Smurge. Nice movement here out of Rebellion, going straight for the natural. The natural is going to be going down as 0 detection in position. So decent snipe, and this is the all-in. Remember, we were going for the all-in. The all-in turns around. We're buying a little time here. Not bad. And time is being bought. DTs, they do blink out towards a 3rd, or towards a 4th base, I should say. Roaches, they respond, and DTs, they do force a cancel. Yeah, they force a cancel, but they're going to be shut down. Killing one, just the one. One Archon does recall back home. Rebellion gets away. Yeah, start times to tournaments don't stop us from casting, Pappy. Or they stop us if we have another cast like just before it. So for example, the reason why we don't cast Monday Night Weeklies is because we cast WarDCB Mondays just before that, and we cast Picasso Cup just after that, right? So the reason why we don't cover Monday Night Weeklies is specifically because we cast around it. So that's like the exception, I guess. The exception to the rule. But if we weren't casting Monday Night Week, WarDCB Mondays, then we'd cast Monday Night Weekly as well. For example. Meanwhile, Rebellion is in a nice position here. He does trade well against the Roaches, and again, this is a delayed all-in here out of Mixu. For the time being, Rebellion is holding his own, and Mixu waiting for reinforcements. It's purely Blink Stalker. We need time for the Immortals. It does need more time. Picking up more Roaches here. While they graze the army. Again, the Roaches are getting picked away out. So far, the wing control has been decent. That's what, 3-4 Stalkers going down. Oof. Bow does connect. But the Roaches are so low. Yeah, the Roaches are so very low here. It's an awkward attack out of Rebellion. The Changelings. Ironically, the Changes, yeah, they do tie things up. They choke up the natural. Awkward engage there for Rebellion. Very awkward. The first Immortal has arrived. Ooh, we're getting into all the Warping and Stalkers. Rebellion out of position. We got to respond. Yeah, he's got to respond a little bit late. Ooh, Bio connects. Bio connects in the mineral line. A shield battery is depowered, but the Immortal has arrived, and Rebellion is holding. Yes, so far, Rebellion is holding on. A bit of a shaky defense here. A little bit shaky. Especially with that fight here outside of the natural. But does hold on, and Mixu has to back off. And Mixu is not droning. Mixu is still not droning up. I mean, the fourth base was cancelled, if you recall. The natural was killed as well, so Mixu has been delayed quite heavily, and Mixu is not transitioning. Mixu continues with the all-in and does get the immortal. Yeah, the immortal goes down. Massive pickup. And without the immortal, there's no defense. Yeah, there's no more defense here. Losing too many stalkers, and Mixu has done it, has broken the third base. Again, Rebellion just bleeding out too many roaches, sorry, too many stalkers throughout the course of the defense. And with that, Mixu has done it. Rebellion he held for a long time, which was impressive for sure, but again, was just bleeding up too many stalkers, trading a little bit too inefficiently. Here, the immortal's trapped by the changeling. How long was that going on for? Once again, Mixu making beautiful use of the changelings time and time again. We saw it twice now, and GG gets called. Mixu will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Mixu does take a lead in the series. Again, we did see that Rebellion, he was fighting his heart out, but just a really rocky, really rough start for Rebellion. Remember, winding it back, Rebellion, he did commit so much to the proxy pylon in the main, to the DT rush, and it did not really pay for itself later on in the game. Yes, we saw the DT sniping bases, but that was after the economy was already built up to 3 bases. That was after the all-in was already well underway. If you remember, the all-in was delayed because of it, but as soon as the DTs were dealt with, the push came. The push was able to get across the map. It was just too little too late damage-wise for Rebellion. So GG, Mixu does take a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. And we'll see what kind of build Rebellion goes for this time. Another Rebellion is very unique when it comes to his style, when it comes to his builds. Depending on the map, we could be seeing a rush into Sky Toss. I know the Rebellion's quite fond of that style as well. And hey, we're loading into Tokamak. Tokamak is another one of these larger maps in the map pool. This wouldn't be a bad map to get into that Sky Toss, but we'll see. Again, Rebellion, he has a plethora of builds. Another build that he's quite fond of is rushing into Mothership for a recall, so for a mass recall into the bases. That's also something that he does like to mix in, so we'll keep an eye on Rebellion. Here we go. Here we go. Immortal's coming out too slow. If you recall, the robo that game was delayed. It was delayed because it was the Twilight Council. It was the Twilight Council opener into Dark Shrine into a very late robo to begin with. So that's why Immortal production was stifled from the beginning, because of the build of choice. Because he also did invest into Shadow Stride into Blink for the DP. So it was a late robo just because of the build of choice, which did mean the defense was going to be weaker. Didn't help as well, of course, that the changelings were delaying the production and forcing some really awkward fights. If it wasn't for those changelings, it's possible that maybe the game could have continued, but regardless, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Finnish Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the pink Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing among his 2 people. It is Rebellion. We go. But again, delayed Immortal production comes down to the build of choice, comes down to the DT opener, as we were mentioning before. All came down to the opener, which did set Rebellion behind. Which is also why Mixu went for the all-in, right? He went for the all-in because he knew that Rebellion would be weaker defensively because of the failed opener. So it all kind of played into each other from both sides. It's why the all-in was as strong as it was. It's why the defense was as weak as it was as well. Here we go. For now, we have our gate expanded to Cybercore, standard opener out of Rebellion, Mixu back at home going for a standard opener as well, hatch gas pool, nothing crazy yet, but as you mentioned, for the most part, our eyes are going to be on Rebellion, as he is typically the cheekier player. Let's go. Let's go. As Mixu investing into 6 slings early on, okay, and investing into an extra pair. Outside of that, welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is a very large map in the map pool, known for longer and later games as well, very defensive on 4 bases, so we often see a little late game on Tokamak if we had some standard players, but considering the fact that we have Rebellion here, then that's why I brought up earlier the likelihood of something like a rush into a fleet beacon. Stargate opener out of Rebellion, already important to take note of. We did not see this last game. Now, this could still be the beginning of a standard opener, but we'll keep our eyes open for further tech like a fleet beacon or an earlier earlier Twilight Council. So eyes on the Protoss. Things say deflect. Third base is being taken. Now opening up Oracle. So everything's looking as it should be. Now a second gateway. Oh. Okay, my eyes are glued to the camera. To the to Rebellion's POV. See when he pans back. We are building up. Second Oracle's on the way. From this point, we should be expanding. Okay, probe gets sent out. Rebellion does take us third. Everything's looking normal. Okay, let's go. No void ray, no hidden tech. I spoke too soon. I was like, it should be expanding. Was that a kill on the probe? No, not a kill on the probe, but Lings are in position. Third base is delayed, and we see a Twilight Council before third. So a very aggressive follow-up here from Rebellion, going for a late expansion, late economy in favor of earlier tech. Now, this should be Glaive Depths, but technically we could see a late forge into like charge, into like +1 in charge. Otherwise, we're expecting Glaive Depths here. Technically, this could be like Blink into an 8K 3-base all-in. Oh, we have the answer. It is going to be charge. Okay, so very aggressive, very committed. Now, when you go for a charge opener like this, the goal and the hope is that your opponent is skipping roaches. Unfortunately, we can see that Mixu's playing safe. Mixu's playing safe. Mixu does not open up Eva Chamber. He does open up Roach Warren into safety Roach production, so he will have the tools to defend. Still will come down to how much of an army he has, whether he drones up too much. If he drones too hard, then he can just topple over in time. So we have a really strong early charge timing initially, but Rebellion may go for something a little bit greater here. Yeah, the Prism's on the way. I believe this should be lined up with a couple of Archons as well. So this is going to be quite committed here from Rebellion. Very committed. How many gateways? So far we have 2, soon to be 6. So 6 gate setup. I believe we may just go up to... Is that probe stuck? Maybe. I was going to say we should be going up to at least 8 gateways. So far we're on 6. No, we can save the probe with a War Prism. No, come back, baby, come back. As these ults move out, I believe we should be warping in those Archons. Yeah, the probe is trapped, otherwise you would have used the probe to make the forge. Here come the Archons. Feels probe. I mean, we could always recall, I guess. It's fine. Feels probe, man. Mixu does kill workers at 3 base saturation. Mixu has 3 roaches. Ooh, Mixu has 3 roaches to defend, about to have 6. That's not a lot of roaches. Lings a counterattack. Main army has arrived. This is half the army. Unironically, that's 3 roaches. Half the army. No, okay, Jesus. I was about to say we supply blocked. Thankfully, there's another warp in. The base is gonna go down, and again, Mixu was just had no army, had no army ready, had no supply. Didn't see the army coming. Wasn't ready for it. Base goes down, catches the queen as well. Not bad. From here, Rebellion has to be careful to overextend. Yeah, has to pull away. Otherwise, we'll just die to a counterattack. Speaking of, Mixu may just commit. Ooh, as Mixu supply block. That was 7 overlords in production. Rebellion pulls away. Mixu is pushing. Rebuilding his base, but purely making nothing but Lings, Roaches, and Hydras. So just purely army production here out of Mixu. And Rebellion, can he survive without Immortals? It's going to be a tough hold. Oh, okay, we have 1. We have 1 Immortal. Second robe is on the way for double Immortal production. Force fields is going to be key. No Ravagers, right? No Ravagers. There's no way to deal with the force fields. They are going to be crucial. Free damage, okay. Free damage with the Oracles, at least until the Hydras arrive. And Mixu turns everything around. Okay, the Oracles, they fight back. They buy time. Storm has begun. Second robo is up and running. We're making 2 immortals at a time, as we did mention. And Mixu now starts to drone up a little bit more here. Gotta make a choice. Mixu cutting works at 69. Nice. Again, that's 3 base saturation. Mixu is about to max out on Roach Hydra. Storm is not ready. Contamination! Oh, let's go! Contaminates the main! Very nice. Yeah, mass contamination. Mixu moving in. Get some of the zealots. Yeah, the immortals are a little bit distracted. Get some decent force fields. But it's just a very awkward angle here for Rebellion. Yeah, Rebellion has to kite back. Ooh, losing 2 Archons. Station Trap gets baited. And Mix is going for the kill. Yeah, Mix is going for the kill here. Takes down the Immortal. Takes down the main army as well. Only 1 shield battery to defend. Rebellion does deflect. But again, these Immortals are so vulnerable. There's barely an army with this. And in the end, Rebellion did kill a base, but nowhere near enough damage. Nowhere near enough. Had to do so much more. That's also why we mentioned that if Mixu had skipped Roaches, and Rebellion would have achieved a lot more as well. We could have seen Rebellion potentially even just end the game. But with only killing a base, yeah, GG. GG gets called. Mixu will claim the series 2-0, and Mixu will advance on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Mixu. I do appreciate the unique builds out of Rebellion. Again, we do expect this out of him. Not saying that we expected him to go for this specific build, but to divert from the norm and have some more cheeky plays. I was very excited game 1 about the hidden pylon, but it got found, it got shut down, so the build just kind of fell on its face. Here in game 2, that early charge timing had to do more damage. Did kill an expansion, that is true. Got like 3 roaches, got a queen, needed more done though. Needed more done, and unfortunately was just outscaled when it comes to the follow-up all-in. Cutting workers at 69 and just committing across the map, essentially maxing out with Roach Hydra. Mainly Roach, just a handful of Hydras behind it. GG. GG, well played. Once again, both games just kind of showing like what occurs if your initial opener, if your initial build, if you do go for something more aggressive, fails to get damage done. Game 1, it was the case with the DTs. Game 2 was the case here with the Zealots. It is the risk you take. Is the risk you take here. Otherwise, let us head on over here. Let us head on over to the bracket. Exclamation mark and be in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we have updates. Okay, first things first, let's head on over to Europa so we don't get left behind. From the top, Incap takes down Hatsu 2-0 to face off against Krystianer in the round of 16. Percival takes down Lelix 2-0. Looks like for the most part the round of 16 has concluded, but Percival does advance on to the quarterfinals. Nickrat takes down Wingit. Art takes down Inexorable. Nice win there from Art. We have Nickrat versus Art in the quarterfinals. Scrolling down, we have Gerald. Gerald takes down Cos Phoenix. Mixu, of course, takes down Rebellion. And up next, we have our next series. We have Gerald versus Mixu in the quarterfinals. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Shameless. Shameless takes down Max Moore. Jumi takes down Triple, and we have Shameless versus Jumi also in the quarterfinals. Now, this is the reason why I did dive on this series to begin with. Mixu versus Rebellion into Gerald. Looks spicy, pappy. And also, Mixu is the only Zerg player left in the tournament, so I did want to feature some Zerg while we could as well, so I was really curious to see. And I haven't casted Mixu in a couple of weeks, if not a couple of months. So I wanted to feature a little bit of Mixu while we could, getting into our next series here. So Mixu versus Geralt is going to be coming up next. Again, the other series that really popped out to me was a potential Percival versus Krystianer. But because of the earlier round of 32 match, I knew that it would be more delayed, right? It would be more of a delayed matchup, so it's a really good, really juicy potential matchup in the quarterfinals. I would love to cover it, but of course we are focusing on Geralt and Mixu for the time being, and we might be able to catch the upper portion of the bracket a little bit later on. Yeah, I'll be able to catch it. Otherwise, just messaging the players, letting them know what's going on. Beautiful. Yo, Gemini in the chat. Papi, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Buenas noches. Get some rest, papi. I know that it's quite late in Korea. It's like, what, 1 a.m.? Soon to be 2 a.m. in the morning? Jesus. Este Gemini. But again, hope you had a good stream earlier, and best of luck with the RSL. I know that the qualifiers are this weekend and the season is upon us. I know there was some scheduling conflicts. I believe it was scheduling conflicts with the SE Boy tournaments. That was the Invitational, or the event that was announced recently. So I think there was like some scheduling shifts, and I believe it's going to be like a really like condensed, intense season of RSL. So best of luck, best of luck. A lot of hard work behind the scenes. Good afternoon, Rusty. Good afternoon. 1 a.m. on Saturday is prime Gemini time. True, true. Este Bomioja. Good morning, good morning. Buenos días, papi. Buenos días. Este Bomioja. Not even my bedtime. Ah, no. We're going full D-Gen, papi. Full D-Gen. Ah. Was this an open tournament? Yes, kind of. Right, sorry, I was meant to mention this at the beginning of the broadcast, so I do apologize. But welcome to the Platinum StarCraft 2 League October edition. This is a monthly tournament that's been running for 7 months at this point, for the majority of the year. So it is open for the most part, but it is a little bit restricted via a League-elect rating. So those that are below 3K League-elect rating are able to compete. Those above 3K are unable to compete. So if I remember correctly, I can't quite recall the specifics, but I want to say basically it bars the top 10. I think it's like top 10-ish players in the world aren't able to compete in this. Everyone else can. So it bars players like Serral, Raynor, Clem, Maru, like the top 10 in the League. Like I say top 10, it might be top 16, but it's like around that level. So it doesn't exclude too many players, but just the best of the best can't quite compete in this. So that would probably include players like Hero, Classic, like they wouldn't be able to compete in this. It's less than you think, like quantity wise, I mean. Which means like pro players still compete in this, by the way. Like like again, 3K League like rating is very, very high. So it's, as I mentioned, like it's literally like top 10 players in the world, or top like 16-ish players in the world. So we still have a lot of top players, still have a lot of high tier players as well, as we're featuring them, of course. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing a Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss. We have the red Protoss player from land of Finland. It is Mixu. There's definitely some low league tournaments that happen to be that would be good to play in, for sure, right, like our own. True, we do host our own amateur tournaments as well. We have a tournament for 4.2K and below, and we have another MMR, not a league like rating, and we have another tournament that we host that is 4.7K and below. And there are other tournaments out there as well that are like 5.3K. I think the God, what's it called? There's like a quote unquote like rising. That's it. There's a Rising Star tournament, which I believe is 5.3K. And there's another tournament that's 5.4K. So there's like some tournaments out there that are like restricted to low GM. They're out there. What else we have? We have the Little Mac League. True. And we have the famed of this. See, this is where Gemini should be plugging, papi. This is where you go. You know, if you really want to compete, you know, with the big dogs, papi. All things Protoss Team League. Let's go. Let's go. If you're a Gooner in the chat, we got a team for you. Join the Gooners, papi. True. Plug away, papi. Plug away. Oh god. Oh no. Now we're settling it. For now, hatch gas pool, standard open, mix of force take the unnatural natural. Likewise, Gerald across the map opening up standard as well. Unlike Rebellion who was very cheeky. Oh right, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're in the chats, predictions. Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. As you can place your predictions. Coming into this, Gerald is going to be coming in as a favorite player, but I haven't casted Mixu in quite some time, so I'm happy to see how Mixu does perform and how Mixu does compare. Happy to see. What we were getting at is that last series, Rebellion was very aggressive. Rebellion was very cheeky when it came to his builds. Game 1, he rushed into a Dark Shrine. Game 2, an early charge before third base. Both games before the third, early tech. But here, Gerald, he's a little more standard. He's a little more standard. He's a little bit more tame, a little bit more one note. We expect to see Stargate, Triple Oracle, third base into +1 and Blink Stalkers. I'm not saying that Gerald never deviates, but his deviations are quite rare. Like, it's quite rare to see Gerald go into like an early glaive timing or go for an early charge timing. So we do expect Gerald to play standard, play safe, and work towards the mid game and work towards the potential late game as well. Meanwhile, Mixu, I haven't been able to cover him in quite some time, so we'll see how he does deviate as well. Against Rebellion, Mixu was very aggressive. Mixu would be going for a lot of 3-base all-ins, and that has been very meta, very, very meta for the majority of the year, I would say. For Zerg players to 3-base all-in in this matchup, different variations. We've seen Hydra-base all-ins, German taxis as well, typically cutting workers at 66 and only getting a 4th base for Larva, right? Typically the 4th base is just for Larva. That's if we're going for an all-in. I expect to see that here at the Mixu again, but we'll see. Maybe against Gerald, he fears his defensive play a little bit more, and he feels the need to go for a longer, later game. Maybe he has less confidence against Gerald. We'll see. For now, nice catch. Gets 1 Adept. 1 Adept does go down. Twilight Council is on the way. Interesting. A little bit of an earlier Twilight Council as the third base was halfway done. Curious. And we'll keep an eye open for the timing of the Forge. If you recall, I was talking about how, like, oh, you know, Gerald, he's typically a little more standard. We don't really expect him to deviate. We're kind of seeing that here. We have extra gateways on the way. Twilight Council. Are we, in fact, going into Glaive Adepts? Show us what you got. As I don't see a Forge. Ah, there it is. Now, I see one now, buddy. I see one now. So, late Forge. Late Forge here out of Geralt into +1, which means this should not be Glaives. Lings poke in. Safety Roachhorn out of Mixu. Yeah, does go for the safety Roachhorn. And we should be seeing Blink soon. There it is. So it's a little bit delayed there. I feel like we had the money for it for quite some time, but Blink is now on the way and should be joined by +1 by the Forge. So even though we had the earlier Twilight Council, it didn't really amount to anything too crazy. We just delayed Blink regardless. As Lings collapse on the Adepts. Nice catch here by Mixu. Very nice. Adepts, they get 0 damage. That was a lot of Adepts, by the way. 6 Adepts going down. Did trade against the Lings, but still, I mean, better than losing drones. So Mixu does drone. Does saturate. We're taking extra gases here at the third, indicative of further tech. Layers on the way, and we're expecting Hydras here. Technically, this could be Roach into Spire, right? We could be seeing a Spire and Muta play behind this instead. We'll keep an eye on Mixu on his tech of choice. Do we throw down the Hydrogen or the Spire? Meanwhile, Gerald's taking up in towards Storm. So Storm is on the way. We're securing ourselves on 3 bases. Blink is not yet done, but that's a hefty amount of Stalkers regardless, so Gerald, he moves out. This is a little bit risky as he is vulnerable to a surround as he does not have Blink, but with a high enough Stalker count and with Oracle support, he should be okay. Should be okay to move out. Nice catch. Picking up 3 Lings. We have a Drop Lord on the way. Unless I missed it, there's no Overlord speed. Okay. Okay, let's go. We're setting up for the slow drops. I believe those Lings were rallied to this Overlord, but they're no longer existent. They were just cleaned up. little bit brutal there for Mixu as he was trying to set up for a counterattack, and Mixu, he is cutting workers at 65. If you remember earlier, I did mention at the start of this game how we saw Mixu go for a bunch of 3-base all-ins, and we were kind of going down the list of different variations of 3-base all-in, how that's been very meta in this matchup for the majority of the year. Well, we're seeing it here. 4th base, just for Larva. Just for Larva. 5th base as well, only for Larva. We're committing Mixu. He's not droning. He's cutting workers early. The extra gases I thought was going to be for further tech. That is not the case. That's not the case. So no Hydrogen. Oh, no, my apologies. Hydrogen is now on the way. A little bit more delayed here, but Mixu, he is still massing up quite an army, and he is ready for his drop. So here we go. Mixu cutting workers at 63. Now he's droning up, though. Ooh. Does force a recall. So Mixu, he committed quite hard to this. These drones are quite late, but he is droning. Mixu, he wants to transition out of this. He wants to work towards a longer game. Storm pops up. Oof, brutal storm. Ling drop into the main. Gerald, he does react. Yeah, it does respond in time. Nice cleanup here by Gerald. And Mixu, he doesn't achieve too much. Nice catch on the High Templar. Gets what he gets through. Yeah, 2 High Templar go down. Nice pickups. So pushing in. Ooh, it's going to be a one-way trip. And we're going to be getting out a lot of roaches here. Yeah, Ling drop is cleaned up, but roaches, they get shut down. 4 roaches try to get away, and they barely will, thanks to the creep. And now I'm worried. I'm concerned for Mixu. Now, a couple of things here. Oh, as we're losing queens. Oh, God. 3, 4 queens getting picked up. Ay, ay, ay. Probe. Get out of here. But what's scary about Mixu is that right now he has a decent drone count. That's true, but that wasn't always the case. Late droning, late saturation out of Mixu. This 4th base and the 5th base have been unsaturated for the majority of their time here, which means even though he now has a decent drone count, the economy isn't kicking in fast enough. It's a delayed economy, and Gerald, he has a lead, he has the advantage as he has been successfully defending on 3, now 4 bases. Gerald has momentum, he can now start to move out. Never mind, he does have momentum. He is going into Skytos. Never mind. Fleet Beacon's on the way. I do think that Gerald has the potential to push. I mean, Mixu's supply blocked. Oof. Mixu, he is supply blocked. He can't reinforce. But Gerald, he isn't pressing his advantage. We have +1 air attack. 2nd Stargate on the way. We're committing into Skytos. So Gerald, he is doing enough to maintain his position, but looks like he doesn't really have any intentions to commit to a push. So he's just going to maintain his position here. Harassing, we've got Zelts on the right, Void Ray on the left, Stalkers in the center. His goal just to buy time for what? For Skytos, as we have 3 Stargates soon to be set up. So more Stargates. Tempest are on the way. And Mixu's on a timer. Mixu is on a timer now. Thankfully, because Geralt wasn't overly aggressive, Mixu has time to max out. So Mixu does max. He maxes out on an army, right? It's like, it's more or less a lair tech army. We have Hydra, Roach, Ling, a little bit of Banelings. There's no lurkers here. There's no spellcasters. So not the most complex army for Mixu, but he's got to make use of it. It's all he's got. Now we get the infestation, but again, we spoke about the low or the late droning for Mixu. Late tech as well. Very late infestation pit. And we already have Tempest in production. Like, that's how late the pit is. But the reason why it's late is because I don't think Mixu really planned for the game to last this long. I'm pretty sure he did initially want to all in and wanted to be aggressive earlier, but he missed his window. Misses window, misses timing. Mixu rotates over towards the 3rd. Last Gerald, he comes in from behind. Ooh, Storm does graze the army. More storms are coming in. Hydras, they're trapped. Oh no! Yeah, brutal storms. He runs past them. And Mixu's gonna lose everything here. Yeah, he will lose everything. Most High Templar do survive. Down goes the entire Zerg army. We have a secondary force here hitting the 3rd base, hitting the 4th, I should say, but it doesn't get much done. And Mixu, he's gonna be forced back behind this, maxing out with 26 Hydras. Good. 26 Hydras to reinforce. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Unfortunately, there's no Lurker Den, so we can't even morph in Lair Tech Lurkers. So no Lurkers. Hive is on the way eventually. By the time the Hive finishes, how many Tempests are there going to be? So far, there's 2. We have Carriers in production. Okay. Carriers are on the way. I mean, Carriers, they have their place in PvZ. They're not ideal if Mixu had lurkers and if he was working towards Corrupted Broodlord, but against a Hydra heavy composition, sure, go ahead, right? Like, make a carrier's back, pop off, perfectly fine. Ooh, as you can see, Mixu's trying to come in for the surround. They're trying to lure him in. Gerald does notice, he pulls away, doesn't take the bait. Mixu does have a maxed out army, does have a chance here to maybe break this before it gets out of hand. Before the Sky just gets out of control. But Gerald, he backs up. And may as well just wait for the carrier, right? The problem in this kind of game state is, to be honest, there is nothing pressuring Gerald to push, right? There's no reason for him to actually attack and move into these bases. He's the one with a better economy, with a better tech, with a better army. He's just gonna chill until he maxes out. Meanwhile, Mix is going for a massive counterattack. Gerald is out of position. Okay, there's a recall. Recall on the right hand side. Ooh, Storm is denied. Yeah, no Storm at the natural. The carriers are on their own. But here comes a flank. Here comes that recall. Stealth coming from behind as well. And this Hydra army is so fragile. It's made out of paper, Papi. Yeah, the Hydras are all gonna be cleaned up. They're all gonna be shut down. They just don't scale well into a longer game. I mean, not like this, not pure Hydra. And now would be the time for Gerald to counterattack. Like, once again, technically he doesn't have to. Like, technically he could just back off and back. There it is. GG gets called. And Gerald, he does take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Does take a lead in the series. And again, a really rough game there for Mixu. I don't think Gerald ever actually pushed with his army, right? The closest we got was when he was just barely outside of the 3rd and 4th base, just before we almost got surrounded by the Hydras. The outside of that, very defensive play out of Gerald, which is what we expect to see out of our Polish Protoss player. Mixu, as we mentioned, unfortunately did have a bit of a shaky game. In regards to being decisive. Either you double down and you commit to a 3-base all-in, or you pull back and you drone up faster and you tech up in towards a later game. We didn't see either of that. We saw him commit initially into what looked to be a 3-base all-in, and then as he was pushing, he started to drone up heavily, right? He was droning up as he was pushing, so he started to, pull back a little bit from said all-in. To be fair, at the time, I do think that he missed his window and he missed his timing anyway, so it was just a really rough position to be in, to commit that hard into Roach Ling and to not be able to make use of it. So it's a really rough position there for Mixu. But again, either you go all in on one end or the other end, but we were a little bit middling in between there, and it led into a very messy mid game there for Mixu. He fell behind in every aspect as a result, and everything just fell apart there. But now we're getting into our next game. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, himself from the land of Finland. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Mixu. We go. I see the chat. Let's go, Mikhail, papi. Let's go, Mikhail. I'll call him Mikhail. I can use his first name because we are tight like that. Yes, I know top players, but it's not a big deal to me. LOL. True. Este Balmiocha. He is tight like that with Mixu. I believe they did share a bedroom when Mixu went over to DreamHack, right? The drama. God. As for now, we do have our openers. Mixu does take his natural. Likewise, Gerald taking his own standard base. Mixu Force take the unnatural natural. But welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is a smaller map compared to Tokamak, compared to Incorporeal. So it's a smaller map in the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on this map, and something that was very popular for the first season of this map. I say first season because Ultra Love has been around for a while. I think 2 or 3 map pools, right? The initial map pool, it was all about German taxis, especially if you were to take this forward base as your natural. Basically, the rush distance by ground is very short. If you take this forward base as your natural, creep is going to be spreading even faster. So you can fixate and prioritize your creep spread to spread across the map even faster, to commit into something like a German taxi, which is a roach queen all in across the map, where your queens, they walk across alongside your army. We saw a lot of that back in the day in the first season of Ultra Love, and nowadays we see it every now and then. It's not as popular as it used to be, but it's going to be in the back of my mind, especially with the space being taken. So here we go. With the first bit of energy here, going to be used for an injection, not for a tumor. Bear that in mind. And we'll keep an eye on Mixu. Again, based on what we saw in game number 1, I would imagine that Mixu wants to commit a little bit harder here to aggression, and he's going to be more favored in doing so here on Ultra Love. I should also mention one other thing about this map and why all-ins are a little bit more favored here is because, unlike on other maps, there is no ramp coming into the 3rd location. Here, the attack path, the attack angle is on the same plane of elevation as the 3rd base. That was not the case on Incorporeal, if you remember. If you recall, the linear 3rd base had a ramp coming into it, so it was easier to wall up, to wall off, and to defend with that high ground advantage. That is not the case here on Ultra Love, which makes it even more difficult to defend on this map. I'm not saying that all-ins work 100% of the time, not at all, but they're more favored. There's a little bit more just working for you in that respect. As for now, Stargate opener getting into Oracles, into a 3rd base, so standard opener here out of Gerald. On the goal, but it would be good to get into some tournaments as well, and hopefully meet some training partners, for sure, for sure. Like, there's definitely like an active community in regards to competing in amateur events. There used to be a little bit more back in the day with like the Platinum, almost said Platinum Heroes, with Proxy Tempest, that's it, with Proxy Tempest, with SCV Rush as well, with other orgs. Meanwhile, it's going to be a 4:30 layer timing. So layer first into the Roach Horn. And so far, no major damage here, getting 2 drone kills so far. Mixu does keep up. Mixu keeps up, Mixu defends. And Mixu, a little bit of a late reaction. Does react late, but does react in time nonetheless. Does pull away. Doesn't take too much damage. And with that, we can calm down. Behind this, Blink, +1, standard follow-up here out of Gerald. Creep is spreading across the map. Ooh, but the tumors are being denied. Nice moves here out of Gerald. Gets 1, gets 2 tumors. Does slow this down. And we have +1 in range on the way, not melee. With this going to be more of a roach heavy composition. Overlord speed. Hey, we called that at the beginning of the game. German taxi. We're going for the all-in. We're going for the all-in. At this level of play, you would never get Overlord speed unless you plan on morphing in Dropper Lords. So Mixu, he's on 3 bases, takes his gases, drones up to 60. That is just under 3 base saturation. And Mixu is planning on committing into an all-in. But that's also why it's so important that Geralt is denying those creep tumors. Does deny the creep tumors. Overlords, they still spread creep nonetheless. Mixu is trying to reduce the time it takes as much as he can. Actively throwing down more tumors. Now, what's important, unironically, because we're throwing down so many replacement tumors here, that means there's going to be less transfuse, which may come into play. So less energy for transfuse. Lings, they clean up the adepts at least. Drop alerts are on the way. Mixu drones. Oh, this is like last game. This is like when we're committing into hyper aggression here, and then we start droning. Ay. We saw the same thing on Incorporeal. Here comes a link drop into the main, but part of this might just be because Mixu's been a little bit too delayed, so maybe he's a little bit less confident. Like, here comes the army. It's been revealed. Gerald is aware. And again, Mixu is droning. Mixu is expanding. Mixu doesn't really have his heart in this. And it looks like he's just hoping to force an overreaction. But again, in my mind, it might just be because this has been delayed, this has been scattered. Gerald, he is very secure here on 3 bases. And yeah, Mixu backs up. Mixu does back off, does pull away. Again, very similar to game number 1, where Mixu was committing into an all-in and then did pull back. Which means the drones are delayed, right? We did invest quite heavily into all these roaches, into all these zerglings, where a lot of that supply could have been in workers instead. And we'll see if Mixu can successfully transition out of this into the mid-game. Coming into this, I still do favor Gerald. I spoke earlier that I think Mixu, he was hoping to force an overreaction. The problem is that there wasn't really an overreaction. Gerald gets 4 more drone kills. Like Gerald, it's not like he threw down like 5 shield batteries and 10 cannons in between the bases. What did he get? Well, he got 2 cannons and 1 shield battery at the 3rd. He got 1 cannon, 1 shield battery at the natural, right? So didn't overcommit, didn't overreact. Still getting a 4th. And Storm is done. Storm is now done for Gerald. And we'll see how Mixu can handle this. Ooh, Gerald, are we being too greedy? Fleet Beacon's already on the way before the 4th base is up and running. Mixu, he is about to max out. So it goes up to almost 4 base saturation. We'll max out with Ling, Bane, Hydra. And we'll see if Gerald can survive. Remember, the soup does lie. Mixu, he is maxed out, that is true, but Gerald has a more efficient army. And likewise, Mixu still has some supply tied up in roaches. So a bit of an inefficient army here. Does go for the mineral line. No armies in position. He gets in. Get a reaction. Late reaction here by Gerald. Ooh, massive connections. Oh my god. The probe stacked. 16 probes go down. Very nice run by the High Templar. Up. If anything roll in, they get 3. They get 1. 1 High Templar goes down. The other 2, they barely morph in time into the Archon. But honestly, nice damage out of Mixu. I'll go, but the Hydra's exposed. Yeah, the Hydra's have to get the hell out of here. Yeah, some expensive losses here for Mixu. He got some nice damage in the 3rd. But here, the main fighter gets both High Templar. Okay. Takes down the Templar. 0 storms left. No storms at the same time. Zealot run back across the map, but not that many Zealots. Ooh, Queen Zealots explode. No! The Queens! Queens are on their own. Nice big loss here by Gerald. And Mixu turns everything around to deal with the Zealots. Did turn around. The one concern here for Gerald is where are the High Templar, where are the storms? We have 3. Okay, 3 Templar. There's the NG overcharge. He has 1 storm. So there's 1 storm in the chamber. Morphing more Zealots. Mixu, he hasn't gone back into droning, and Mixu, he has not teched up. What I mean by that, no lurkers, right? There's no tech into lurkers, there's no infestation pit, no hive. It's purely a lair tech all in here by Mixu. Just remaxing with Ling, Bane, Hydra. Mixu just wants to end the game, which means the longer this goes on, the better it is for Gerald. Because, hey, he got away with a Fleet Beacon. At any moment, he can start a Mothership. At any moment, he can start Tempest and carrier production. Speaking of, there it is. Mothership is on the way. Alongside +3. Like, again, the quality of the army for Gerald is getting better over time. I can't say the same for Mixu. Ooh, storms a mainly zone. Gets 2 Templar, gets 3. All 3 Templar go down. There's 1 Templar left. Bailey's there to roll in. This time Gerald's in position. Yeah, nice defense by Gerald. But where are the storms? He's got 2. He's got 2 Templar. There's the first storm. That juicy connection. Sorry. Come on, we're still standing in it. Oh no. He got the full damage of the storm. And better concave here for Gerald, and Gerald will clean this up. He'll completely clean this up. The Zealots make it through. Hydras, they cannot escape. They're gonna try. Oof. And Mixu's being chased down. Get out of here, Mixu. Get out of here. Aye, aye, aye. And again, as you mentioned, like Mixu, his army has a bit of an expiration date. It is getting worse over time. As we have a second Stargate, carrier production, more Hat Templar have arrived. And at this point, it's not like Mixu can just decide to drone and throw down infestation, but at this point, he's committed, right? Oh boy. He's going for it. Let's go. Best of luck. Now, the problem here, so Lurker Den's on the way, Infestation is on the way. By the time we can even think about Hive Tech, Gerald's going to max out with Sky Toss. So this is why the decision to tech up like this is a really difficult one to make. Because you're going for a Hail Mary play. You're basically saying, okay, if my opponent doesn't attack for like 5 minutes, then we can bring it back. True. If he leaves us alone, then we'll be okay. But Gerald should never leave him alone. This one he's gonna call up Krystianer. Be like, yo, can you like can you like cause a distraction or something? Ah, no. As the hive has begun, we got our Lair Tech lurkers on the way. Let's go. Gerald, now thankfully he only has 2 Stargates, so his transition into Skytoss is not as fast as and not as intense as last game. True, last game he already had 3 Stargates up and running. So that's going to be helping Mixu a little bit here. As Gerald is maxed. Gerald, he's maxed out. Now he did decide to actually go into Carrier and not make any Tempest. So the lurkers are going to have a little bit of a stronger showing here. I say a little bit just because they still don't have any upgrades. Specifically referring to the Hive range upgrades and the Burrow upgrade as well. Okay, this does cause a distraction. At the same time, Mixu going right down mid. Let's go! He's going right down mid. Send it back. He said, oh god. I mean, the carriers have arrived. Brutal storm on the army. Oh god. I mean, this is the hell. This is all we got. This is all we have. Send it, Pappy. Send it. It's all we can do. Yeah, lurkers are on their own. They're all going to be shut down, and they are revealed. And Mixu should lose everything here, assuming there's detection. Ooh, yeah, there is. Yeah, there's revelation. And maybe one lurker gets away. Get out of here, Pappy. Get out of here. And you can see Gerald, his supply unfazed. Still 200 supply, Mixu plummeted 50. Like that just shows like the disparity when it comes to the quality of the army, right? It shows how far ahead Gerald has been, and that's why these fights are going as one-sided as they are. GG gets called. Gerald, who will claim the series 2-0. He'll advance on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Gerald, he will claim the series. A very solid defensive play out of Gerald, which is what we expected, right? Gerald, he played very standard, very safe, very defensive, both in game 1 and in game 2. Mixu, I don't want to repeat myself, but game 2 felt very similar to game 1, where it felt like we were committing and building up into earlier aggression, into an earlier all-in, and then we did pivot away from that. We were deterred from that, and potentially for good reasons, right? Like, we did see Mixu was kind of delayed in both game 1 and game 2. I'm referring game 2 specifically to all the creep that was being denied, to the revelation, to being scattered, of course. So Mixu, he wasn't fully in it, he wasn't fully on board with the initial aggression, so he backed off and droned up and went for a later timing. The problem is that was more delayed because of the earlier commitment from Mixu. That's applicable to both game 1 and game 2. But GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. Gerald, he does claim the series, and let's catch up on the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Let's go. Let us go as we have, as we have all the updates. When it comes to the quarterfinals, GG, Shameless. Shameless takes down Este Jumi 2-1 to advance onto the semis. Meanwhile, Nickrak takes down Art 2-0 as well. Krystianer takes down Incap, but Krystianer's up against Percival in the quarterfinals. Again, a really juicy series. Best of luck to the two of them. As they are two, as I would say right now, all the remaining players are heavy hitters. Gerald, Shameless, Nickrat, Krystianer, Percival. It's hard to kind of pick a favored player here for sure. But with that, we bid adieu to Mixu, the one lone Zerg player in the tournament here. This is also why we decided to cast Mixu while we could, for some variety. to cast some Zerg while we could before the semis, before the remainder of the tournament here. But Mixu, he had a nice showing. He had a really nice showing here regardless, and I look forward to seeing more of Mixu in the future. Oh, as Vitas are done. Jesus, how fast were they? Okay, calm down, Pappy, calm down. As Vitas are done, we're jumping into the semis already. I wanted to talk about the bracket. I mean, yeah, the players, they got places to be, Pappy. We've got time to update the bracket, but here we go, spawning in the left-hand corner of ley lines. We have the Polish Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PvP. Here we go. And this is going to be a harder one to call. Both Gerald and Shameless are very strong players in their own right. They're at the top of the European region, the European scene. You can make an argument that they are, what, like top 6, top 5 Protoss. Oh. As we are moving out. Let's go. Did I miss something? Oh, let's go. The Protoss, they're communing with each other. As probes do move out across the map. We have our 2-gate opener out of Gerald, and likewise 2-gate opener out of Shameless. Here we go. Just catching up in the chat. What would be a good answer here? Infestors, Ultras, etc., Broodlords. To Rusty in the chat, as I was attempting to emphasize when it comes to the previous series, it was a damned if you do and damned if you don't position for Mixu. There was no good answer, but the reason for that is because it's failed all-in, basically. Like, it's failed, like, there's a reason why we call it an all-in, because when it fails, like, you don't really have anything behind yourself. There's a reason why we were emphasizing, and why when we saw him finally throw down his tech, it was like, oof, like, it was like a really rough moment, right? That's when we said, like, like, the one shot he has is if Gerald doesn't push for 5 minutes, right? It was just a really rough position to be in because of the failed, like, all-in from the game itself. So trying to take into Lurkers, into Broodlords, into Ultras, into Infestors, like, regardless of what take it would be, it should have been the same outcome just because it was so far behind. Unfortunately for that kind of game state, it was kind of decided earlier. It can be really difficult to recover from that. I guess, like, technically there are ways to recover with, like, run-bys and counterattacks and things of that nature. But remember, Geralt was being very defensive that game, right? He was, like, focusing on defense to survive that aggression, to survive set all in, to get it to max out on Skytoss. But here we go. We have our tech of choice. We have our Twilight Council on the way from Geralt. Likewise, same degree set for Shameless. So councils are on the way. And from here, we should just be taking up towards Blink. Shameless, though, hiding his pylon. Let's go. So, cheeky moves here by Shameless. He has the potential to hide a Dark Shrine. Twilight Council is done. Pylon is ready. Show us that Dark Shrine. There it is. Let's go. So, Dark Shrine is on the way. Checking Geralt's vision. He has yet to confirm anything crazy yet. The next time he sees that Twilight Council... research, though. I was going to say that if it isn't researching, that would be a tell, but Charge is on the way. So there's no immediate tell here. It's not uncommon to send you hallucinations towards the edges of the map just to confirm. So there's a chance that Geralt does send a hallucination in said direction. Shameless does get across the map. Checks the main. Is going to be 3-gate blink into a 3rd base. So Geralt, he's being very economic. That's going to be a 3rd Nexus before Robo. Oh, God. And this is lining up beautifully for Shameless. Basically what is happening here, Gerald is being very greedy. He's being very greedy. He's being, I mean, I say greedy, it's pretty standard, but I would still lean towards greed here from the side of Gerald. What's happening, he's delaying his robo. He's delaying his robo. It's not uncommon to do so, so it's going to be a late robo, late detection. Dark Shrine is done, Warping is coming, and there is zero detection. No Forge for cannons, no robo for observers, no Stargate for oracles. The game may just end. Thankfully, only one DT. If there were two DTs immediately morphing in and going across the map, that would be instant GG. But here comes a second Dark Templar also waddling in, and again, there's nothing, there's no answer. Oof. And this can sometimes be PvP. to me, it's just PvP. But what? That's yeah. What can you do, Pappy? What can you do? Here we go. First DT into the main. So yeah, GG. GG gets called. Zero detection, and Shameless takes game number 1. Whew. And that's PvP. That's GG, well played. Shameless takes the lead in the series, and again, this does happen. This happens to Hero, this happens to Max Packs. Like, we've seen all the Protoss players die to this at some point in their career. It's just a part of PvP. It is, yeah, it just happens. It's a bit of a checkmate move if you have zero detection, if you do manage to cut corners, if you don't confirm whether or not there's a Dark Shrine, that can just be game. Now we're getting into game number 2. Oh, Este Slojo. Crazy. First quack. Here we go. Now, I don't expect to see Geralt delay his robos heavily, as we saw in the next game, in the last game. This time, so we should be seeing some earlier robos, some safer play out of Geralt, and likewise, I don't expect to see this build out of Shameless again in the series. Typically, rushing into a Dark Shrine like this, you do it once. You do it once in a series. You don't want to rely on it too heavily because there's a higher chance their opponent is going to be ready for it the second time around. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak. We have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. Leading the series 1-0, it is Shameless. And he is Shameless. True, true. Also, shout out to Gonzalo in the chat. I did provide the link to the bracket, if you wish. Got you the bracket link. I got you, Bobby. I got you. Unfortunately, the command doesn't work on YouTube chat, but I got you. Esta PvP. It's a part of the matchup. It doesn't just happen in PvP, it happens in PvT as well. There have been plenty of games we've seen, like Cure Insta GG, we've seen Beyond Insta GG, where a Dark Templar waddles in and there is zero detection as well. In PvT, it's a little bit different. For that matchup, you have to line it up so that your opponent mules. If they mule, and just as they mule, bam, you rock up with the DTs, then they have no scan, right? Then they have no scan. You also have to hope that there wasn't like a Raven opener. And the game also can just end there as well. It happens, it happens. Oh. As we once again are going for 2 gate openers, 2 gate opener out of Shameless, 2 gate opener out of Gerald. So far, mirrored builds. From here, we should be checking for the second pylon. Second pylon's in the main base for Shameless, so Gerald, he should be feeling secure. Likewise, second pylon also in the main base for Gerald. So there's no fake out, there's no proxy, there's no shenanigans. Not this early on. As for now, we are going to be delaying our expansions here. So pylon block out of Geralt, pylon block out of Shameless. Again, this is just a standard part of PvP. You want to be pylon blocking, you want to delay your expansion of your opponent and force earlier attack. Stargate opener out of Geralt as a result. Meanwhile, Shameless back at home, he refuses to tech up. We'll kill the pylon and we'll eventually... Oh, but there's the Cybercore block. A massive punish. Shameless making 2 more Stalkers. He just wants to expand back. Just wants to expand. Oh, never mind. Hello, Shameless. Are we setting up for a proxy gateway? I mean, he does have extra stalkers, true. Shameless is a little bit supply blocked, though. That does hurt him. A little bit supply blocked. There's the expansion. Shameless loves the probe across the map. There's a proxy pylon. He can set up a gateway. He can commit to aggression. Never mind. Yeah, he pulls away with the probe. He can still use this to reinforce. He can still warp in across the map, but he does not commit to a gateway. The probe does race back home. Shameless does have the army advantage currently, so he can move out, he can apply pressure, but with the help of shield batteries, Gerald should be fine. Ooh, Gerald even throws down the stasis trap. Okay. Does throw in the trap. Shield batteries are done. It's a little bit overkill here, and this means that the Oracle can do less damage across the map. But Shameless, he already scouted, right? He already saw the Stargate, so he's already ready back at home. You can see here, shield battery in the main base, 2 soldiers as well. He is ready for the Oracle. Ooh, pylon. Yeah, the hallucination does lead the army to the pylon, so the pylon goes down. Brutal pickoff. Oracle doesn't find any damage, but Gerald has a very nice lead. A very nice economic lead, I should say. He's up in workers, has a faster natural. The pressure is on Shameless to get some counter damage done. Oh. Oracle rotates into the main. Going for... Oh, transferring workers. Ah, it doesn't quite get it. Yeah, it doesn't quite get it. Gerald could be reinforcing. Shameless getting caught out. Very nice positional play here out of Gerald. Yeah, Shameless out of position, losing 1, 2, 3 stalkers. It's too early for Blink. Massive pickups. 3 stalkers go down. Shameless, he has 0 shield batteries here at the natural, but there's not enough for Gerald. He pulls away. So Gerald pulls away, but that was a very nice catch for the blue Protoss. He pulls back. We'll lose 1 stalker in the process. Stasis into the main, getting 2 probes, and Shameless will take a 3rd. Shameless is expanding. Ooh, probes are going down. Once again, Shameless out of position. Oh, Gerald overextends. He will lose his Oracle. Okay, he throws it away. Oracle is thrown away, but that's still 8 probe kills. Gerald, he extends his lead even further here. Yeah, very comfortable economy out of Gerald. That's why the 3rd base is so important for Shameless. This is how Shameless can recover in this game with a faster 3rd with triple probe production. Also, on top of that, Shameless has to deny the 3rd base. He has to deny the 3rd base of Gerald, or at least delay. Checking the army sizes is comparable. Shameless has the slight army advantage. Very slight. Blink is done for both players. Blink is done. They just have a warp in for Gerald. Gerald has the army. And Gerald, he can just chase us down. So the sentry blinks in. Yeah, he has the advantage. He has the advantage. Shameless has to get the hell out of here. And Shameless is in trouble. He's in trouble. He has to back the hell off. Another Oracle was rebuilt. Was remade. Shameless, I'm sure, unsuspecting. He still has no shield battery. No battery at the natural. Gerald, he just keeps on committing. Takes the fight. Shuts down the stalkers. And Gerald is snowballing out of control. GG gets called. Gerald, he will tie the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A very shaky start for Shameless, winding it back. If you remember what happened, Shameless, he had a very delayed expansion. He invested into earlier stalkers, but he got supply blocked. So what was meant to be quadruple stalker aggression with 4 stalkers, he only had 3. So he had a really late expansion. He didn't have any early tech to make up for that, so there was no early Stargate or Twilight Council. He tried to go for extra Stalker warp-ins, but he didn't find any damage across the map. And then we saw the counterattack where that one lead that he had, which was the Stalker lead, he lost it when he got caught out, when he got caught in the center of the map. And with that, the Oracle, because he was caught out in the open, that also kind of was the first domino falling, or the first, maybe the second domino falling. Because those stalkers were caught, if you remember, Shameless, he responded with everything else. He basically like F2'd, he responded with the rest of his army to try to save those stalkers. He failed to do so. There was a clash at the third location, and while that was happening, bam, 8 probe kills. The Oracle came in from behind, the stalkers were busy because of Gerald's push, and everything just fell apart. That's when Gerald took a massive lead, and he snowballed from there. GG. GG, well played. Whew. With that, we're getting into game number 3. We're getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Pylon. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pylon, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Here we go. But again, Shameless, he was basically playing from a deficit from the beginning. From the beginning of the game, he was just punching up and couldn't quite punch hard enough. So shaky start to game 2. We'll see if he can tighten things up coming into the ace match. As welcome and all to Pylon. Pylon is one of, if not the smallest map in the map pool, shortest rush distance by ground. Aggression can be favored here, but I feel like the rush distance by ground matters a little bit less in PvP, like warp-ins do nullify that. You can still proxy despite the map anyway, despite the size of the map. We'll see how we open up. Hello, Shameless. As Shameless, he's rallied here at his triangular third location. Are we going for a fake proxy Pylon? Este Shameless. Gerald, he does go for his probe scout. And I believe Shameless is planning to hide that Pylon. There it is. Pylon gets thrown down. Now, for those who are curious, are we committing? I assume this was fake, but I mean, I just mentioned something. The rush distance by ground is very short in this map, so even if you go for a one-base all-in from back at home, it's still quite effective. So he might just commit here. Now, a couple of things, winding it back. In PvP, at this level of play, it is very, very common. I mean, I say this level, at higher levels, like Masters onwards, I think even Diamond, counting pylons is normal. You count pylons to figure out what's going on, and that's what Gerald is doing. There's only one pylon in the main. Only one pylon in the main base. He should be aware that a pylon is missing. You can see here that Gerald has both of his pylons in the main base, even getting a third pylon as well, so everything is where it should be, and Gerald can just compare base to base. He does know that something is wrong, that a pylon is missing. And it could be fake, it could be real, could be a proxy Stargate, Robo, Gateway, or could be nothing. Could just be a pylon out there for mind games. It is on Gerald to confirm. It's also why he's keeping his probe here, to try to get eyes on the first couple of units. Sees one Stalker. And Gerald, does he still try to expand? No, he doesn't. Solid read. Defensive Robo. Solid read here by Gerald. Gerald, he doesn't know. He hasn't confirmed the build, but he doesn't feel safe. He does take a chance. He does go for a defensive Robo. Very safe opener here by Gerald. A very strong response against a proxy Robo. It would be disastrous if Gerald expanded, right? If he took a chance, if he expanded, if he tried to call Shameless's bluff, then everything could just fall apart. And Gerald, he checks left-hand side and he confirms the Robo. Now he knows for sure. Now he knows for sure. And now he can smile to himself. He can be like, oh, thank God. Thank God I threw down a Robo baby. Let's go. So with this Gerald, he can start his own immortal production. You can see him being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more active. Oh, so what Gerald is attempting here, he's going to try to defend with the bare minimum. And he has to defend the ramp, which is a very narrow choke point. He's sneaking around the edge of the map. The goal here, backstab, depower. Depower the Robo and shut this down ahead of time. Here comes Shameless. Now Gerald, he can snipe this pylon and then recall, right? He can recall immediately after. There's a sentry. He has a force field. 2 more volleys. 1 more. There's a force field. Ooh, doesn't quite catch a Stalker. Shameless, he commits. Yeah, he does commit it. There's the recall. Yeah, it does recall. Nice control by Gerald. Oh, he'll still lose 1 sentry, still lose a Stalker. A bit of miscontrol there from the Blue Protoss. But he defends. Yeah, he defends. He does hold on. And behind this is no reinforcing Immortal. Shameless is heavily delayed. And Gerald, he will chase this down. We'll chase them down. I mean, the War Prism can siege to repower, true. Does siege up, let's go. It does repower the Robo. So Shameless, he will eventually get a second Immortal, but this is a very delayed second Immortal. Speaking of two Immortals, I mean, Gerald, he's not getting his own, right? He shouldn't be this far ahead or this close production-wise to his opponent when it comes to that Immortal count. You see Gerald trying to engage ahead of time, trying to slow down the push, gets a shot off, pulls away at the same time, Prism into the main. He's going for the mineral line, going for the economy. Shameless, he doesn't have the energy for a recall. He's pushing. Job comes in. And, oh, there's the defensive recall. Okay, it does recall back home. Gerald doesn't lose anything. He pulls back. But remember, the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Gerald. Oh, Shameless is dropping into the main. Gerald, oh, he just chronoed. No recall. Yeah, no recall is available. Job is coming in. Uh-oh. Yeah, the Immortal's exposed. Gerald, he doesn't turn around. He commits across the map. He'll lose the Immortal. Nice pick up by Shameless. Now, at the same time here, remember, Shameless, he just recalled back home, so he does not have a recall available. And now the turns are tabled. Turns have tabled. Gerald is pushing up the ramp, gets a pylon, depowers the gateways, not bad. Limited production here for Shameless. His robo's depowered, his gateways are depowered, he's got one gateway left. At the same time though, we can see the same being done across the map. Oof. Yeah, brutal fight there for Gerald, going up the ramp into a concave, pushing into a shield battery as well. Yeah, still very close, very clutch. I mean, the Immortals are still not a part of the fight. And Shameless is holding. Shameless is holding on. He'll lose both gateways, but he has backup gateways on the way. Gerald across the map. Also, supply block. Oh god, heavily supply blocked. Well, has been supply blocked for quite some time. Just now breaks out. Getting a Twilight Council. Blink is going to be done first for Shameless. Okay. So Shameless, he will have the tech lead. Blink is done. Gerald checking his vision. He did see the Twilight Council, so he's aware. He's aware he's behind in tech. Gerald is attempting to expand. But can he hold on to this? Army supplies are neck and neck. Shameless going for the main. He's on the center. He's going for the force field. Let's go. Yeah, he's going for the force field, and he does force field in time. The army's out of position. Pylon's going to be going down. Force the recall. Yeah, recalls into the main, and we can just hop over. Yeah, he can hop to the other side. Show us the force field. Oh no, the Immortal. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol. One Immortal gets thrown away. Miscontrol out of Shameless, but he will successfully force field the ramp. Ah, but not good enough. Ooh, takes down the Prism. Not bad. Prism goes down. Doesn't quite break the shield batteries. Still very close, very clutch. We had some cheeky moves out of Shameless. No shot we expand and slow things down, right? No shot. Is that about to happen? Oh. Oh no! Prism gets away. But both players are expanding. And are we just gonna... is this gonna turn into a regular game? Are we... No shot. Okay, well, it's time to back off. Saturate our two bases. Get a third base up and running. Do we... Let's go. Let's go. I mean, where are we taking from here? Forge is on the way for Shameless. Forge is indicative, of course, of a later timing with +1. And Gerald instead going for extra gateways. Ooh, so Gerald, he's a little more committed here on two bases. A little more committed. Shameless, less so. But we've yet to expand, right? There's yet to be a third base for either player. It does feel like Gerald is setting up for a two-base hold in there. Ah, never mind. I say that. He's banking minerals. A little bit premature from Shameless. Ideally, you want to let the pylon, sorry, you want to let the probe throw it on the Nexus and then kill the base. Ideally. But he just denies the expansion. Shameless pulls away. War prisms in production. I mean, probes are in position, but do we ever plan on expanding? I think the answer is no. Like, Gerald, he's on how many gateways? 6. Yeah, he's going for a 2-base 6 gate all in. Ah, there's an Nexus, gets thrown down. The hallucination does see it. And it's go time. It is go time. The prism has arrived. Gerald is going to send everything across the map. Here come the warpins. And remember, as this game goes on, it's going to get better for Shameless. Shameless has a faster third. Shameless, he'll have +1, and soon to be +2. So better upgrades for Shameless. Let's engage ahead of time. Nice force field zoning away the Immortals. And blinks in, getting on top of the charge lots. Yeah, most of the Immortals, they just cannot engage. The force fields, they do zone them back. And Shameless, he shuts us down. He completely shuts us down. The Immortals are exposed. They're on their own. War Prism is denied. And Gerald, he'll lose everything. Every Immortal goes down. Again, he committed into the 2-base all-in. It did fail. And again, Gerald, his 3rd base was an afterthought. Was more of an afterthought here. That's why he committed as hard as he did. Gets 12 probe kills. I mean, that is some damage, but he will lose the entire army. And now it's time to counterattack. The one thing keeping Shameless back, no War Prism. Oh, no, sorry, there's one. Let's go. Send it. You got the Prism, you got the Immortals. Send it back. Gerald back at home. This is the army. We got Zealots. He has 9 Zealots. We have 1 Immortal. If Shameless pushed with everything, I think he could break through, but Shameless, he keeps the Immortals back at home. So he only pushes out with the Stalkers. Does pressure, but doesn't commit. This will allow Gerald to build up. So Lambe hits the 3rd. Shameless, he's somewhat in position. Ooh, Gerald out of position. And Shameless does get into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. At the same time, it upstate shade into the main. Did you retarget the probes? Yeah, getting up to 6 probe kills. There's the recall back home. Nice damage out of Shameless. And Gerald, he's built up to another wave. Also, just bearing in mind, no gases. No gases at the natural, no gases at the 3rd base either. Pure charge reinforcements. And again, no upgrades either. He can't afford it, doesn't have the gas for it. This is basically like a second wave, a second round, a second all-in. So here we go. Round 2 here for Gerald. Once again, he has to kill Shameless with this. But as time has been progressing, I mean, we spoke about it earlier. This time, Shameless has +2. He has a double upgrade advantage over Gerald. Crazy. 2-0 against 0-0 upgrades. Gerald gets into the main. Will force Shameless to split up his army. Does force a split. Gerald's moving in. Now there are Archons to defend. Yeah, the composition there is greater for Shameless. Shameless does collapse in. Prism goes down. Nice move on the Prism, but the Immortals are exposed. The Immortals are getting called out. Stalkers, they rotate. Zeal's having a hard time engaging. And Shameless, he will clean this up once again. At the same time, massive counterattack. GG gets called, and Shameless, he will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here. Congratulations to Shameless, as does claim the series does advance on to the grand finals. A very oh, sorry, my apologies. My apologies. I forgot. Right, that's on me. That's on me. Oh no. I gotta. I was too fast. I was too fast. Best of 5, not a best of 3. This is a best of 5 semis. I forgot. That's what this tournament is. Oh no. So the series will continue. My apologies. This is a best of 5, not a best of 3. So I got ahead of myself here. My apologies. My bad. As the series does continue, and Gerald does have a solid chance here to recover. Let's go. That's on me. That's on me. But I did forget that that for the Platinum StarCraft League, the semifinals are best of 5s. Let's go. Oh. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of Magnatha, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone from Lena, Poland. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player, but Team Little Fairy, it is Shameless. Let's go, baby, let's go. I'm so used to the semis being best of 3s, so that's my apologies. That's on me. It's on me. I'll make sure I'm a little bit more attentive to that fact coming into future tournaments. But here we go. The series will continue. I do apologize for the premature payouts as well, but again, that's on me for not paying attention. And with that, hello. Probes are being sent across the map. And we are just going to be scouting. Just going to be scouting each other here. Welcome to Magnatha. Magnatha is a very large map in the map pool, and I'll be honest, I would not have been opposed to Shameless going for a fake proxy pylon on this map. It is so common to proxy because there are so many proxy locations, but alas, Shameless, he does hold back. We do see some standard scouting here, and no pylons are being thrown down anywhere else outside of the main. So everything is looking as it should. There's a second pylon for Gerald. Likewise, there's a second pylon for Shameless as well. So second pylons get thrown down all over the place. Oh, sorry, in their respective bases. Everyone scouts, I should say. And everyone knows that everything's looking normal. Everything's on the up and up. Now from here, we'll see how we open up. Do we open up double Stalker, double Adepts, Stalker Sentry, or Sentry Expand? How greedy are we going to be? How aggressive are we going to be? Huh, double Stalker. Double Stalker out of Gerald. Sentry Expand, I believe, out of Shameless. He does start off the Adept. Curious to see if he will cancel the Adept or if he does let it finish. But we have a more assertive and aggressive start here by Gerald. Pylon block is going to be thrown down. Gerald should be doing the same. He's in position. He's in position to block. Sentry pops out. Yep, there is said pylon. Adept should finish. And both players do delay each other. Keeping the Stalkers back. Do we let it finish? Oh, does let it finish here. Stalker's now revealed. Now they can get a secure kill on the pylon. Likewise, Cybercore out of Gerald. And this is going to be a massive delay here for Shameless. Gerald deals with the pylon. Gerald can now expand. Shameless nowhere near. Again, because the Adept doesn't really add much DPS, same with the Sentry either. Base is on the way. Again, delayed expansion here for Shameless. That's scouting the Adept. Daylight robbery, we take those. True. Unfortunately, I can't. Full transparency, if I could, I would try to like refund or like redact the previous predictions, but I don't think it's possible, unfortunately. Smoge, might be Smoge. Este Gemini. But yes, now completely unbiased, but now I'm cheering for Shameless just so we can just so that prediction can be true. No. I say that Shameless has had a rocky start. He's gonna have much more delayed expansion, faster blink for Gerald, faster natural for Gerald as well. So cleaner start from our blue Protoss. Shameless behavior. Get esteledlex. But also true. I see what you did there. SMH my head. Yeah, so now Shameless, he does catch at least some of the Adepts. Behind this girl, so they're gaining map control. Zoning back Shameless. And with said map control, faster third, right? So Gerald, he's at a faster natural, faster third base, greater economy here for Gerald. Shameless behind this to go for the earlier Robo. We have a Gateway Explosion, and this does look like a 2-base all-in from Shameless. It makes sense. The early game has been really rocky here for Shameless. It's been really shaky, and we got to commit. Adept will confirm the Immortal. Likewise, checking on Gerald's vision, he hasn't seen all the gates. So he's unaware of the Twilight Council, unaware of the extra gateways. Gerald, he only has a piece of the puzzle. Is getting a safety shield battery. Extra gates are on the way. It's not going to be an easy hold. Here we go. Shameless, he is about to send it. Send it, Pappy, send it. Throws down a third piece behind this, but here we go. Shameless, he does commit. Alright, what do we have? We have an almost equivalent Stalker count. We have an equivalent Immortal count. War Prism, of course, will allow for reinforcements. Blink is done for both players. Comes down to the angle, comes down to the micro. Gets the Observer. Not bad. Let's get the Observer. Shameless double forge behind this. A bold move. Got a Shameless, blinks in, gets one, gets two, very nice force fields. Two Storks get picked up. Nice moves out of Shameless once again. Oh. Deb shading into the natural. Ideally wants to try to peel away some supply. And Shameless pulls away. He pulls away, he does not commit. Backs off, doesn't want to lose too much. Going into Glaives behind this, okay. Let's go. Getting into Glaive Adepts. But we still do favor Gerald here. Gerald, he's been enjoying his third base economy for so much longer here, fully saturated. Shameless' own third base just now getting up and running. Gerald with that getting to charge. Building up his Zealot composition, again staying on a lower gas count, but did just take a gas here this third. And there is going to be a window, there's going to be a timing available here to Shameless with Glaives. With +1. We'll see what he does with it. As a reminder, Shameless does have the slightly earlier upgrades. Coming in from behind. Gets a probe. Ooh, we'll lose a Stalker in the process. So once again, better pickups here from Shameless, and here comes a push. Glaives is finishing up. Glaives alongside +1. It's go time. Yeah, it is go time. Here comes the second wave. Crucial that he didn't really lose too much in the first attack. At the same time, Gerald, he can try to dive into the main. Gerald, he can attempt to backstab. For a moment, I was like, no shot, he starts to the Prism! No, he knows! Yeah, he did see it. He did see it earlier. Shameless does react, does respond, does pull away thanks to the Observer. Whew. Yo, MVP Observer, by the way. that could have been disastrous. That could have been game. To lose the Prism and an Immortal. Same time, there's a recall. Does supply block Shameless. Here comes Shameless, does commit. War Prism moves out. Ooh, dives on the Immortal. The Prism, yeah, Prism gets zoned. Barely gets away. And we need those weapons, we need those reinforcements. Nice force fields here out of Shameless. Zones away the army. And he's getting on some of the Immortals. Ooh, Charge also. Yeah, Charge also to try to punish. Prism goes down. And where are the Warpins? Shameless, we have the money for it. Where are the Warpins? Blinks in. Yeah, blinks forward. I mean, he overwhelms MG. Who needs Warpins? Who needs But you can just stay on a 1k bank. You're fine, baby. True, true. There we go. Reinforcement with Pure Stalker. And Shameless, he has done it. He has broken the main army. Este Shameless. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, blinks forward. Prism finally goes down, but the damage has been done. And Shameless, he will snowball out of control. You got the two Immortals in the back line. One of them barely engaging. But still, again, just too much of a greater army here. Unable to push into the shield batteries. Reinforcements are on the way. Again, they're a little bit delayed, but they have arrived. It blinks in. Boys are being pulled. Gerald getting desperate. Oh. Zealots, they do try to collapse all the Immortals. They don't quite get it, though. They don't quite break through. Still very close, very clutch. Gerald, he's holding, he's surviving until the adepts arrive. Shameless, he commits into the natural. Oh. Still just warping in 7 adepts at a time. And Gerald just cannot keep up. But adepts, they do peel off into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Does whack the War Prism. And once again, blinking in. Blinks in, he does punish. He just wants that more at the same time. Oh, Pistol comes in. And the Prism lives. Yeah, barely does survive. Oh, Jesus. I spoke too soon. Prism goes down, but there's no army. There's no army left here for Gerald. It's a Shameless. He has done it. He snowballs out of control. Breaks into the natural. Gets into the mineral line. And Gerald just cannot keep up. He did have the greater economy, that is true, but he was just unaware of the all-in that was coming his way. Wasn't set up. He got caught out. Leading out those Stalkers in the center. We had Shameless taking a crazy fight as well with those force fields. And with that, Shameless, he has done it. Third is going to fall. You can see Gerald trying to catch reinforcements. Oh, we're going for the base trade. We're going for the base trade. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Gerald, he gets across the map. We're committing. I mean, Shameless, he can always recall if need be. Can always recall back home. Shameless is the main. Rest of the army here at the third. Gerald, he's going for the gateways. Will depower. Gateways are going down, and Gerald, does he escape with any probes? He does escape with some Stalkers. Zero probes left. All the next side go down. Gerald, these are the final buildings here for Gerald. That's all he's got left. There's a recall. Oh. Recalls to the third base. And Shameless turns everything back around. To be honest, he could have just committed to killing all the buildings, but no, he turns back around. What he sees what you get for Gerald. And GG gets called. Shameless, who will take the series 3-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew, GG, well played. So those that did predict Shameless, that's still correct in said predictions. Just premature in the payouts, of course. I do apologize for that. But regardless, GG well played. Shameless does claim the series, does advance on to the grand finals, and it is on us to determine who will face off against him. Let's go. Let's find out. Exclamation mark and be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us catch up. And again, a really impressive comeback there by Shameless, as Percival and Nickract are currently, I believe, mid-series. Okay. Un momento here. Percival and Nickract, they're currently facing off in the TBT. As Percival took down Krystianer 2-1, went all the way to the ace match. Very nice. There's the reason why we were looking at that series earlier, as we expected a back and forth between the two players. But Percival and Nickrat, they are mid-series. Oh, and we are jumping in. Okay, cool. Good. As we have the upper semis about to begin. As this will be a fresh best of 5. True. Best of 5. No best of 3s. Well, they've been patiently waiting this entire time, and here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon. We have the Red Terran player, the Red Terran himself, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nickrat. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. It is Percival. Here we go. Here we go, as we are getting into our next game, into our fresh series. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TBT, into our Terran versus Terran. Let's go. Let's go. Gerald copiuming. A little bit, Pappy, a little bit in that last game. It's okay, it's okay. Yeah. As Nickrat does open up double gas, likewise so does Percival. Coming into this series, Percival is coming in as the favorite player for sure. He's coming in as maybe the favorite player to win the entire tournament, but Nickrat can definitely hold his own, can pose a threat, and can bring Percival down. But the pressure is going to be on Nickrat to play at his best, right? He's going to play at his best here to bring down Percival. We'll see if he can. Este Nickrat. This game has a live VIP observer and an MVP observer. Ah. Oh no. Ahí está. But from here, so far mirrored builds. Mirrored builds here in our current TBT. And we'll see where our players deviate from here. We should be expanding CC, and then we can get into our tech. We can open up Reactor Reaper Hellion. We can open up Double Reaper. We can go into an earlier add-on swap in an early Cyclone production. We'll see where our players take us. So it's going to be Reaper into Reactor for Percival. Nickrat opening up a Double Reaper. Reaper goes in, gets one SCV, not bad. Gets on Worker. Nickrat, he does barely get away. Very nice KDA charge. Clutch moves out of Nickrat. So he does pull out. Behind this, Percival getting into his own Reactor Reaper Hellion initially. Early on, Nickrat does have the greater army, but Percival, he's about to catch up. Okay, Hellion is out. Does kill the first Reaper, gets one. Gets both. Ay. Brutal start here for Nickrat. He killed one SCV, but he will lose 2 Reapers. With that, Percival, he pulls away. Nice dodge from the KDA charge. And Percival, he will save the Reaper. Does reinforce, repair his Hellion. And Percival, he will gain momentum. He will gain map control. He's moving out across the map. Nickrat, he has to race all the way back home. And do we delay the CC? Barely not. 1 second earlier, the CC would have been delayed. That was very close. Very clutch. Nickrat, he will defend the main, and likewise, he will defend the natural. And does defend. So far, so good. As mining is at least being denied. Back in Percival, he's freely mining from his own natural, freely muling, so this is still a lead for Percival. Not as much of a lead as he would have liked, but lead nonetheless. Oh. Nice catch. Cyclone arrives, and Percival, he is forced back. But the damage has been done. From here, we're building up. Ooh, Percival, he does decide to invest into a second Cyclone, so double Cyclone here out of Percival. Meanwhile, Nickrat, I believe he stopped at one, going to earlier tank production. As a result, Nickrat, he will have the slight tank lead over his opponent. As Nickrat, he's going to be shut down. Nice defense here by Percival. Scan is the main base, gets eyes on the... Oh, barely doesn't quite get eyes on the third CC timing. But both players are expanding. We're building up into the mid game. We'll see if Percival, because he does have a little bit more momentum on his side, he might decide to move out and attempt to delay the expansion of Nickrat. I mean, it could go either way. Nickrat does have that slight tank lead. Meanwhile, Percival going into earlier Viking production.
You want a piece of me, boy?
So Vikings are asking for Percival. Nickrat going for his own add-on swab and making the reactor. So delayed Vikings. Instead, he has more Ravens. Nickrat did commit into triple Raven production. It's a lot of disables. A lot of interference matrix. Oh, here comes a move out. Percival, he does attempt to delay. Oh, nice catch. Yeah, tank does siege, takes out one of the Cyclones. And this is just containing Nickrat. And while he's contained, ideally Percival expands. Oh, yeah, Vikings move in. There's mass disable, orders are going to be thrown down. Yeah, both players. Throws down as many as he can, but the tank should fall. Nice breakout. Nickrat, he gets the tank. But the Cyclone lock-ons are brutal. Takes out everything. GG gets called. Nickrat, he will lose the entire army, and Percival takes game number 1. Whew. GG, a very chaotic fight there for both players. We saw that, yes, Nickrat did disable the tank. He was able to move in, but the Vikings, they landed behind the army. We had overall more DPS available for Percival. Took the greater fight. GG, well played. With that, that was game then and there, and we'll see if Nickrat can bounce back coming into game 2. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. So getting into game 2 here. Game 2 is going to be on Ley Lines, one of the older maps in the map pool. It's been around for a couple of seasons. And of course, as a reminder, Sheamus is waiting for the winner of this series in the grand finals. Likewise, something that I have yet to bring up so far in this cast is if you want to help support this tournament, you can do so via Matcherino. I believe I have a command. There we go. Exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat, and you'll get a link to the Matcherino page, so you can help support this tournament if you wish. There is a Matcherino page for every monthly for the Platinum StarCraft League, so it is available there. If you wish to support the tournament, you can monetarily, as all that prize money goes towards the players, goes towards the top players of this tournament. But here we go. We're getting into game 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran representing the Platinum Heroes down in this series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Nickrat. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player, the blue Terran himself from South Korea. It is Percival, leading the series 1-0. Go. As once again, double gas opener out of Nickrat, double gas opener out of Percival. So far we have mirrored builds. We'll see if we deviate in the early game once again when it comes to the commitment into Reapers, commitment into Hellions. Percival did have the slightly better start last game. led into the earlier push with earlier Viking production. And we'll see what Game 2 entails. You're all animals in the chat. You're all animals, man. Aye, aye, aye. SMH, man. Likewise, also a reminder, these monthly tournaments are leading into an end-of-year final, so there's going to be a Platinum StarCraft League finals towards the end of the year, featuring the top players from all these monthly tournaments. So all leading to a big major event. So something to look forward to at the end of the year. We're getting there. We'll see what happens when it comes to the coverage of that event. I believe Rotterdam should be covering it. Whether we're involved, yet to be determined. But now that we do have our 1-1-1 follow-up, getting into our add-on swaps. Ooh, Percival getting caught out, so losing the first Reaper. One Reaper does fall. And the second is also being chased down. Nicorette with the attempted interception. Can he catch him? Oh! Yes, Percival does hide his Reaper. Doubles back around. Nicorette, he's searching for the Reaper, but alas, he gets juked. Does get juked. Percival slipping in from behind. Avoids the Reaper Hellion. And can he delay the CC? No shot. Gets in. Yeah, it does get in and will not delay the CC. A little bit late to actually attack the SCV. Yeah, a little bit late. At the same time, Nicorette, he will kill 2 workers. 3 even. Oh. 2 SCVs go down. Third one towards the end. Barely gets away. Cyclone will hold. And the Reaper getting even more damage done. Getting up to 4, 5 SCVs. Wait, what? 5 SCVs on the 1 Reaper. What is happening here? Yeah, the 1 Reaper going insane. 5 SCV kills. That should not have happened. 1 or 2, sure, but Nicorette, he was hyper fixated on his micro across the map. His defense back at home fell by the wayside. Ay, ay, ay. So after that skirmish, Percival does take a slight lead. I want to emphasize a slight lead as we're up by 3 SCVs, by 3 workers. TVT does often still come down to the main fights, the main engagements, the main army control. It's all about the animals here, right? True, true. Quack. We're sharking around. A third TC is on the way. Both players once again building up into Raven production. We'll see when our players do stop Raven production though. Last game Nicorette went up to 3. Meanwhile, last game Percival, he stopped at 2, then went into Vikings. Scan reveals the production, reveals the tech. Nicorette has yet to expand. As we did open up Banshee actually behind this, my apologies. Good Banshee into the main, getting 3 SCVs already. Very nice damage here by Nicorette, sorry, by Percival. He does turn back around. He was already behind economically, now falling slightly further behind. Now we get a third TC, but a much more delayed third base out of Nicorette. There's a lot of pressure on our red Terran here to move out. A lot of pressure. But the Banshee is keeping him home. Okay, here comes the move out. Here comes the main move out. 3 Ravens. Viking production for Percival, very similar to last game. Banshee hits the main, more SCV kills, and Nicorette, he's all in. At this point, like, Nicorette, he has to commit. Losing, he's down by 10 workers. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, Percival, he has not spotted the main army. He doesn't know where he is. Doesn't know where he's coming from.
Command center upgrade.
Main army has arrived. Ooh. Thankfully, doesn't go off. Okay, he has to find a way in. Not quite able to. And Percival, he holds, he defends. The Banshee is still in the main, gets one more SCV towards the end. It's going to be 13 in total, and with that brutal damage, Percival is landing his third. And Nick Grant, he still needs to find damage. He gets spotted. Percival reacts. Percival moving in. We go for the massive disable. Disables 3 tanks, not bad. But Auto Chargers will buy some time. Now we have the one counter disable. Vikings, they take control of the skies. And Percival, he can just land. Yeah, he does land. And he will clean up, takes out every single tank. GG gets called. A very strong fight there from Percival, and he will extend his lead 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Percival, he was very much so in control of this game, more so than the last one. Percival, he was able to deal early damage with the Reaper, 5 SCV kills with the Reaper. He was even able to deal more damage with the Banshee follow-up as well, so critical economic damage. Nick Grant, he was borderline all in there. He was borderline all in. He had to do something to recover. He had to push into the bases, but alas, there was just so much working against him. As time went on, it was getting better and better for Percival. And likewise, as Percival was the defending player, he was often pre-sieged. He was often pre-sieged in position, and the army was pushing into pre-siege tanks. We had some nice disables, but Percival had plenty of Vikings to help deal with that. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 3. We're loading into Ultra Love. Let's go. Loading into... I'm hoping this won't be the final game of the series. I want to see a back and forth. I want to see a game 4 and potentially even a game 5. But the pressure is on. Pressure is on, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Red Terran player, the Red Terran himself, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nickeract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue. What else? We have the blue Terran player himself from the land of South Korea, leading the series 2-0. It is Percival. Go. So we are getting into our next game, into game number 3. And again, Percival needs one more game to claim the series. Nickeract, the pressure is on. So far, these games have been coming down to these main pushes on 2 bases as we attempt to take a 3rd base. But what's important is the lead up to that, right? Here in the last game, Percival had such a dominant early to mid game, just crippling the economy and forcing Nickeract's hand. Nickeract, he had to commit in, even into a bad fight, because he was so far behind. So coming into game 3, it's going to be up to Nickeract to tighten up his defense, right? To tighten up his early game, minimize losses, or even be more aggressive himself. Here you go. Oh. As Percival does get his natural base. Oh, sorry, my apologies. For the first time this series, ranks expand. For the first time this series, we do have an economic opener here. We are not going double gas. Nickeract is. So we have our roles here. Percival is going to be the defender. Nickeract is going to be the aggressor. Okay. So Percival, he is being a little bit greedier. Nickeract, I believe he saw the timing of the CC. He's aware. And we'll see if he can punish. In, pulls away. Didn't think 5 players are so good. Think these 2 might consider going pro or something. True, they should. If this is what they're looking like at Platinum, mate, imagine Diamond. Ah, that'd be crazy. Crazy, man. Aye, aye, aye. Okay, Del's back in. Del's back in. With the help of Marine Defense, the Percival he should be able to hold on. Ooh, as he will not lose the first Reaper. Does pull away in time. Last does overextend. They do trade 1-to-1. Better trade for Percival. Does pull back. And again, as a reminder, Percival, he doesn't have as much map control as he doesn't have any Reapers to work with. Only had the one because of his opener, because of the later Gas Geyser. But so far, he's holding well. It's up to Nick to break through. Yeah, the Hellion was a little bit late to the party. Marines are broken down. Nice pick up there with the Hellion, and Nick he takes over the Natural. Nicely done here. Ooh, the SCVs do line up. Gets one, gets three. 3 SCV kills, not bad. Takes down 3 workers. Behind this, Nick is getting his own natural base up and running. Mining is denied. A more SCV is going to be going down, and Nick not a bad start. Right here, getting 4. Getting 4 SCVs, denying mining time. Denying mining at the natural as well, and with that, Nick does take a slight worker advantage. Now, the one downside, of course, is the mule. As you can see here with mules, Percival, he can recover. The orbital just now finishing up for Nickeract. As from here, we're building up. Nickeract working on his tanks, building up his ravens. Nickeract, he will have this slight tank lead. And I believe Raven lead as well. Yeah, it does have the Raven lead. Only slightly, I believe. Oh no, equivalent. Never mind. So from here we're building up back at home. We'll see if Nickeract or which player does decide to commit across the map and try to punish the third. That's often where a lot of these games have been decided. And Percival, he is behind economically, so to make up for that, does come in with the Raven. Gets 1. Gets 1. 2 SCV kills. The Raven does get away. Does pull out, just barely. Not bad. The downside, of course, is now that's going to be less energy to defend back at home. Less energy for Percival. And Nickeract, he's rushing into a 3rd CC. And meanwhile, do you see what I see? That's a 2nd starport. Let's go 2-port, 2-base all-in out of Percival. Meanwhile, a more economic follow-up out of Nickeract. Scan into the main base, doesn't see much. I mean, does confirm the reactor on the starport, does confirm Viking production, is aware of Stim that's on the way. But again, even though we have reacted Vikings, it's on Percival to actually take over that Viking lead. So the way this build works here is that we're going to be making 3 Vikings at a time. So over time, Percival, he will actually be able to excel and overwhelm the Vikings of his opponent, and ideally reinforce with a Liberator. With that air control, thanks to all these Vikings, the Liberator can reign supreme. This build hits quite hard. It hits quite hard, especially if unscouted. Scan doesn't see much. Tanks, they're getting within range of the mineral line. Nice moves here by Nickeract. You have the counter disables. Disables 1, disables both. And both tanks are disabled. Oh, the Vikings, they pop off. Ravens are going to be going down. Nickeract, he's going to bleed out too much here. They bleed out far too much as he will lose all the Marines, the Ravens, and the tanks as well. Oh, I was assuming that was going to be a stronger engage for Percival. Tanks are still up and running. Tanks are still barely up. How many Vikings do we have so far? 4. Not quite enough to land on this. Oh, as we throw away the Vikings. Yeah, brutal loss there for Nickeract. He will pull away. There's that Liberator that we spoke about. Again, this is the big power spike for Percival. Is that Liberator? It's coming. And again, what is the answer to the Liberator? The Cyclone went down earlier, and the Vikings are in favor of Percival. Speaking of, they do land. Phototypes get thrown down. He wants those tanks. He gets 1. The others are waddling away. 1 Raven doesn't quite fall. Yeah, bit of engagement for Percival. He does catch out the army, takes on both tanks. GG gets called. And Percival, he will overwhelm. He will take the series 3-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Ooh, GG, well played. Again, Nickrat, he was trying to make use of his advantage of his tank lead, but he was going into a 2-base all-in. He got caught out in the open. He got caught across the map, let out far too much. And with that, Percival able to make use of this older school build. You don't often see 2-base all-ins anymore. It was very trendy a couple of years ago. Nowadays, it's quite rare. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Percival as he does claim the series and does advance on to those finals. And let's catch up. Let's catch up with the finals. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Here we go. Just quickly setting up. Beautiful. As a reminder, of course, Shameless, who was waiting in the grand finals for the winner of this series. Shameless did take down Gerald 3-1 earlier. Here we had a stronger showing out of Percival with a 3-0 scoreline over Nickrat, and now we have Shameless and Percival facing off in the grand finals. Double checking, but I believe this should be a best of 5. Yes. Yes. Best of 5 grand finals here between Shameless and Percival, and we'll see how this story ends. We'll see who's going to be this month's champion. Will it be a Protoss? Will it be a Terran? Now, this is going to be a rematch. These two did face off a couple of days ago in the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. They faced off in the semifinals, best of 3, and Percival did win. Did go all the way to the ace match, but did win 2-1 over Shameless, which is why we expected back and forth, right? Previously, Shameless, he barely went down to Percival in those semis. Now, here we go. For now, we're going to be going on a break, and when we come back, we'll have the grand finals. We'll see you soon after said break. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. Ta-da. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals, those grand finales here of the Platinum StarCraft 2 League October 2025 edition. We here returned with the grand finals, and before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Hatsu in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hatsu, of course, was casting over in her own native language as well, was casting the events. But thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great time covering your own respective matches. Thank you so much for the raid as we are jumping into said grand finals. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy, it is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, the blue Terran player himself. It is Percival from South Korea. Here we go. As we're getting into our grand finals, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our best of 5. Let's go, baby, let's go. Need to get a Monster Energy sponsorship. I mean, I wouldn't drink it though. Like, it'd be a bad sponsorship because I rarely have to like break glass in case of emergency sort of thing. Those are curious. So we do cast a little StarCraft here. We cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there. Whenever we find ourselves in like a big cast, so say like Home Story Cup, which is often like 14 plus hours, or EPT qualifiers, which is like Oceania, like China, rest of Asia, into Europe, into Americas, which can be like 14 to like 16 hours. If we ever like end up in like a really long, intense cast like that, that's typically when caffeine is required. Otherwise, like, we're good. Those are good. I'm not one of those people that I'm not like the general public, which like needs coffee like in the morning to like function. I'm good. I only need it in case of emergencies. But we're fueled by passion, man. Fueled by passion. Passion and agüita. Yeah. But now though, we are getting into our grand finals, best of 5. We do have our initial openers as well. It is going to be Ranks Expand, economic opener at a Percival. We do have our economic opener. Likewise, we have Shameless going for a standard opener himself. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Welcome, of course, to the grand finals here. When it comes to these two players, as I mentioned before, this is a rematch. They faced off in the semifinals earlier a couple of days ago in the Turtle Tussle. Did go to the ace match. We'll see if we can also get it back and forth. Regardless of the series score, regardless if this goes the way of Shameless or Percival, I want to see a game 4. I want to see a game 5. I want to see more games out of our two players. Gibbs, baby, Gibbs. I'm greedy like that. Gibbs. If I drink water, we can drink coffee, huh? No, the correct answer is like, I mean, there's water in coffee anyway, right? True. Go for it. Cab. Bottled water, yo, let's get that. What is it like? Fiji water sponsorship? Let's go. Let's go. Vámonos. I almost said Voss water, but no shot. We would know. No shot. It's too much for the Ducklings, Fabi. Too much. As interesting, so we do have our Twilight Council opener here out of Shameless. We do have something more economic, 2-gate into a third base. Quite a greedy build here from Shameless. These kind of builds, they're out of fashion. They're typically a little bit too risky in the current meta, but they have been making a slight resurgence in the latest patch. We'll see if Shameless can get away with this. We'll see if he can. As we do have the drop here from Percival, he does scout, does confirm the timing of the CC, of the Nexus, I should say. So Percival, he's aware of the greedier build when Ryan Joel comes in, and Shameless does pull away. It does pull away in time. Mind shot's going up. So far we get some decent connections at the same time. Reaper Hellion into the natural. Shameless out of position. Yeah, he's out of position, not quite paying attention. That's going to be brutal damage. 8 probes going to 9, 10. 10 probe kills, a critical damage. That should not have happened. Ay. The Woodmine drop was okay, but again, Shameless, he left nothing in the natural to defend. He was caught with his pants down. The pants were down, and damage was done. Percival does take a very nice lead. Is comfortably ahead. Behind this, rushing into early stim, early combat shields. As opposed to a standard game, we would typically be having tank production here, but no, we have insanely fast stim instead, going for an earlier push and earlier timing. Ooh, and I was getting ready to see another set of Raxes, to be honest. I was getting ready to see a 4th and 5th Rax. No, 3rd TC. Percival, he will take a lead, and he will extend his lead, and he'll get further ahead as more probes are going down. And this is just a brutal start for Shameless. A brutal start here, losing 12 probes and 1 stalker for what? For a Reaper, for a Hellion. There's still Widowlands in the corner of the map as well. They can always come into play. At any moment, they can try to boost into the mineral line and try to get some damage done. Right now, the pressure's on Shameless to recover. The pressure is on. And you can see, like, the ramifications of all this damage done already here. You can see Shameless falling behind supply-wise, due to the economic lead. Due to the economic damage, I should say. And here comes Percival. Stim is finishing up in 10 seconds. Does move out, does Stim. Stim does contain Shameless, because Shameless is going to be stuck on 3 bases. And Percival, he has to be careful not to overextend. Picks up a pylon, pulls away. Shameless collapsing in the army. Percival, he does commit. Yeah, he gets caught out. He's getting caught out. I say that reinforcements have arrived. Does burrow. Shows some line shots. Ooh, brutal connections. All the zealots go down. Now he can just stim in. And Shameless, he has to get out of here. Has to pull away. Cannot engage without zealots. Bleeds out a stalker, a sentry, no shot. He'll bleed out the immortal. Massive loss there for Shameless. Oh my god. Line shot goes off. There's still those little knights behind the main. And Percival, he goes from a 20 supply lead into almost a 40 supply lead. Percival, he was already ahead economically. It takes an even greater economic lead. Ideally, the Protoss wants to be up a base. We're equivalent on bases instead. So again, Shameless still far, far behind economically. Rallies into the army, bleeds out a stalker. And Percival, he can soon go for the kill. He can soon just go for the kill. He can soon just send it. Shameless has got the bait being thrown down. He's working towards Colossus eventually. He'll get there, Pappy. He'll get there. Nah, he might not actually. He's working on it at least. Percival's getting his own 4th command center. What's crazy about this game state is that Percival's 4th CC is faster than the 4th base of Shameless, which should never be the case in this matchup. Shows how far ahead Percival is. Now, is there a chance here to recover? There is. If Percival moves out, at the same time, if Shameless gets into the main base with this War Prism, harasses the mineral line, and forces Percival to turn around while Shameless establishes a 4th base, then sure, like we can recover. That's a world where that can happen. But it's all going to line up. As Chargers, they do collapse in the army, okay? Nice pick up on the medevac. Shameless, who does hold on to the 4th base at the same time. Zelrumai doesn't get damage done across the map. Oof. One drop goes down. But one of the reasons why Percival didn't really do much damage across the map was that he left a lot of supply at home to defend. So he defends back at home. Shameless committing quite hard here. Oh my god, brutal connections. Brutal mine shots on the zealots. Percival does barely miss the War Prism. Shameless still moving in. Warping into the main. Ties on the main army. But nice kiting here out of Percival. And kites down the main army. The Warping doesn't really achieve much either. Percival, he defends. And Shameless, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. He's running out of resources, army. He essentially threw everything away to attempt to recover and to attempt to deal some economic damage. Got 5 SCVs. Got 5 SCVs. He lost 40 zealots. Oh god. 40 charges went down. I mean, hey, he bought enough time for the Colossus, but Percival is about to max out. He's about to max. And we've yet to see him move out with the entire army. Soon he can. Up until this point, he's only fought with part of his, or with half his army at a time. The portion of his forces. That's also maybe like the best chance for Shameless is that Percival, he commits to a fight with only like a third of his army. So then Shameless can overwhelm that and then, you know, fight like a portion at a time. That's also a world where Shameless can recover. Percival's maxed. Again, he's still keeping a good chunk of army here to keep up with any kind of run by and counterattack. Like, this is a lot of supply up here. Abdi's also moving out. The specificity here of Percival is allowing Shameless to catch up. Slowly getting there. What's the pick up? As EPs. As EPs on the Gateway Army. How many Vikings we have? So far 7. It's an okay Viking count against 3 Colossus. But again, Percival, he was very passive. Still not going to be easy here for Shameless, but trying to collapse in. Vikings, they get 1. They get 1 Colossus, they'll get cleaned up. Percival has to get the hell out of here. Has to pull away. And we spoke about it, right? Percival, he fights with, what, a third of his army. He has more forces towards the top side, more reinforcements back at home. This is best case scenario for Shameless. Fighting mainly harassing forces. Okay. Still not in love with Shameless's position, but it's better than it once was. True. As we're building on more disruptors, there's 3 so far. Percival is taking up in towards Liberators. Like, when it comes to the quality of the army, I still do lean towards Percival here, with his Ghosts, with his Liberators, with his Vikings. But the Liberators aren't out yet. And at the end of the day, now that we have Disruptors, hey, if like 1 or 2 Novas can connect, Nova goes up, up! Grace the army. Does grace the army, Nova does throwing away. Catching a couple of Marauders. Nice target firing here on the Disruptor. Oof. Vikings, they punish the Colossus and the base is going to go down. And Percival, he breaks the expansion. Shameless again, he's relying heavily on those Disruptors. Heavily. Oh, Celtic coming first around. Does force to pick up. Does force to pick up. Vikings going to be thrown away. But Shameless, he just can't touch the economy of Percival. He's had some decent fights, but... Oh. Decent Nova. Nova goes off, but Percival, again, his bases have been untouched the entire time because of his lead, because of his map control. That's something that Percival has maintained, even in his passivity, when his more defensive kind of stance. Out. But again, we just haven't seen any kind of decisive move out from Percival. There just hasn't been one this game. So Shameless hanging in there. Up to 5 Disruptors now. Liberators have arrived and we just miss each other completely. We're going for the base. Let's go. We're going for the base trade. And once again, best opportunity here for Shameless. He does catch reinforcements, picking up all of this entire army here. Catching a couple Marauders, Marines, Liberators, Vikings. Just avoids the main fight, the main army. And Shane's gonna keep going. Gonna keep pushing. And avoid that main fight. Ooh, links in. Takes down a couple of Liberators. And one more does siege. Pushing on top of the production. And again, this is the one chance here, the one opportunity for Shameless. Doesn't quite break in though. Nice cooldown supply. Heals up the depot. He still cannot get in. Yeah, Percival, he's fine. Oh my god, we just can't get into the main. GG gets called, calls out the supply, and Percival, he will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Percival, he was in control of this entire game. We did see some nice moments for Shameless where he was able to take some better engagements, but as we tried to emphasize, Percival, his economy was completely untouched. He had the greater economy, greater resource collection behind that, of course, so he could afford some worse fights. Something that was helping Shameless is that Percival, he never really brought his main army together for quite some time. He was so paranoid about run-bys and counterattacks. It allowed Shameless to take some engagements, take some better fights, to eventually max out, but the quality of the army was never quite there. It was never quite there for Shameless. He was never able to take map control away from his opponent either. Never able to harass. The base trade was maybe the best chance, the best option for Shameless, and GG. GG, well played. Percival does take the first game. But again, a lot of this is just predicated off of the early game, right? It was just a really rough start for Shameless. Winding it back, the reason why this was such a comfortable game for Percival is he killed 10 probes at the beginning of the game. The Widowmine drop with the Reaper Hellion Harass was critical damage, and Shameless, he never quite was able to recover from that early enough. Yes, eventually he maxed out, but again, he was behind in other aspects, not just supply-wise, but upgrades, composition-wise as well. He was 1 step behind, or 2 steps behind. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner here of Maganatha, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Shameless. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran leading the series 1-0. It is Percival. See in chat, are these live games? See. The only times we ever cast replays, it is stated in the title of the stream. So as you can see in the stream title, there's no indication of a replay cast. Otherwise, it will be there. So yes, live games. It is not uncommon for certain players to be playing really late into the night. There are certain degens out there in South Korea, players like Percival, Byun, Hero as well, Solar, the degens. Not just in South Korea, but over in Europe as well, true. Like Clem and MaxPax, they are known to play up until 6 a.m. in the morning. Clem and MaxPax. Clem, MaxPax, Gerald, Wayne, and Nickeract, they're also some of the players. Wayne less so nowadays, but I would say that Geralt and Nickeract, they would often in the past play deep late into the night. Jimmy as well, he was known for that for quite some time. Jimmy would also play very late. In Europe, I mean. In NA weeklies. There's a handful of degens out there. Aye. And Percival being one of them. But here we go. Once again, economic opener. Economic start out of Percival. Shameless, forced to take the unnatural. Aye. That is a brutal start, and we'll see if Percival can punish this. Winding it back, sorry, we were just discussing some of the players and their sleep schedules. Percival, he was able to eBay block. When you eBay block, if it goes unscouted, you do force your opponent to expand elsewhere, so really rough locationing for Shameless. When I say rough location, defending this base and defending your main can be very awkward because you have all this space in between. So the opposing Terran player can be hyper aggressive to punish this, right? They can go into Reactor Hellion, they can go into Early Cyclone, push in between the bases and punish. Otherwise, we don't have to. This could just be a standard follow-up here out of Percival and just have a really awkward and really uncomfortable start for Shameless. Never base traded Terran, as I say. I would say never base traded Protoss, but Percival, he was in a really good position. Like, he was ahead enough. It's ahead enough back. Hey, Bob, I'm mostly lurking tonight, but wanted to pop in and thank you once again for the great job casting this. Oh, este pie. Ah, Shema, papi, Shema. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do apologize for not seeing your message earlier. We were locked in. We were locked into the games, locked into the cast. But thank you. And also thank you so much to Pi for being a part of. I believe Pi is a part of like running and adminning and making sure that like Rotterdam's tournaments run smoothly. Referring to the Kalara Steadfast Roddy Cups, for example, which are a little bit more, a little bit less regular, I should say, but they happen every now and then, or Roddy's random tournaments, his Roddy Cups. I don't know if you have a role and have a hand in the Monday Night Weeklies, but yeah, thank you, Hi as well, for the work that you do behind the scenes. Thank you. That's what's settling in. As Percival does open up with a Widowmine drop. So far, the same opener as game 1. He hasn't really deviated. He is not looking to punish his opponent. And we'll see if Seamus can keep up. Widowmine drop comes in. And Seamus, he does pull away in time. Thankfully, no retargeting. Widowmine's barely saved it. Oh no! Yeah, Widowmine's barely saved the new burrow. More shots going to be going off on the Adepts. Oh, the probes even. 3 probe kills in total. Reaper into the main base, shield barriers in position, and Shameless, he will defend. Likewise, this time Shameless, part of this cleaner defense here, cleaner compared to last game, is extra gateway. Remember, last game it was 2-gate blink into a third. It was a very greedy build out of Shameless. This time, a 3-gate blink and a robo on, and even a gas geyser on 2 bases. So much more committed play here on 2 bases, much safer play out of Shameless. I'm sure forced to play a little bit safer because of the more awkward start. And he's turning this defense into an offense. The Prism is out, and we'll see if we can get into the main. Tanks are in position. Bunkers are ready at the natural. Percival, he is looking very secure. Prism, again, coming into the main base. Tank is in position. Ooh, gets 1 Stalker. Yeah, 1 Stalker goes down. And the Percival, he will deter. He will deny the aggression. Stalkers are getting behind the mineral line. Oh, getting 3 SCVs in total. Not bad, getting some damage. 1 Stalker for 3 SCVs. Because that mine drop is still active. You still look up NA called in the crossfire. Pegasus Cup, I would say. Pegasus Cup. In modern day, in modern StarCraft. Like that's what the European like degens stay up for. Is Pegasus Cup. Well, I guess it's the equivalent of the previously ESL Open Cup NAs. Is the equivalent. Same with the turtle tussles as well, true. As Percival does find the Prism, very nice catch. As it was going for his own double drop anyway. Thankfully, at least this does alert Shameless of the double drop. Shameless does give chase. Attempts to catch. Oh. The last Percival, he can hold his own. Can hold his own here at the same time. Raven harass here into the natural, getting 2 probes. Main army does push towards the left-hand side. Colossus gets spotted. Percival still does trade well. Still pushing. He wants that Colossus, I'm sure. We'll see if he can now position. Tank is moving in. Tank does siege. Charge is complete. Oh, but there's not many zealots. And from here, we can stem in. It doesn't quite go for the dive. Yeah, it doesn't quite get into the Colossus. But the tank somehow survived. Wait, what? I thought the tank went down. Never mind, the tank survives, and Percival, he's going for the kill. He's going for the kill. He zones away the main army. Shameless, he cannot push into his own natural. He's trying. He does try. One tank falls, only the one. And there's barely an army standing here. Shameless just getting pulled apart in between his natural and his third. Colossus does fall. GG gets called, and Percival, he will take a 2-0 lead. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Percival does take that 2-0 lead here. Again, a more economic start out of Percival. A bit of a more awkward start out of Shameless being caught or being forced to expand at that forward base. Bit of an awkward start going for that triangular third. Likewise, he was caught out of position as well. Percival able to wedge himself in between the bases. Likewise, he was able to catch out the War Prism. Because the War Prism went down, what does that mean? That means that Percival didn't have to keep anything at home to defend. There was no counterattack. There was no threat of a counterattack. There was no threat of any kind of drop or War Prism harass into the bases. So that means that Percival, he could focus and send everything across the map instead. Whereas otherwise, typically you'd be deterred because of that War Prism. But GG. GG, well played. Likewise, he had some nice Wood Mine harass in the start of the game as well. Kept the Wood Mines alive. A nice catch on that Prism, and of course did outposition the main army as well with his tanks. Here we go, we're getting into game number 3, and again, I'm hoping for a back and forth. I want to see a game 3, I want to see a game 4, so this is a game 3. I want to see a game 4, at least, Pappy. Let's go. We're spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak. We have the Red Protoss player, the Red Protoss himself, down in the series. The pressure is on, he has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this. Representing Team Little Fairy, it is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player with the blue Terran himself. Leading the series 2-0, it is Percival. Here we go. Hello, Percival. As Percival, he does open up with a hidden racks at his own third location. Now, it is not uncommon for the Terran player to hide their racks further back in the main, or even hidden here in their main base at their natural, at the third, at the fourth location. Not uncommon. The hope here is that the probe scout comes in, the probe sees there's no racks, and then you force an overreaction. You force a zealot out of the Protoss player. And you might even force a second probe out as well to get more scouting information. So mind games. Mind games are going to be coming into play. We'll see how Shameless does react. Now you can see here Shameless, he does double check the entirety of the main. As we mentioned, it is not uncommon to hide the racks in the main base. So he's double checking the main. Does double check. There's that Zealot. As you mentioned, typically you never make the Zealots, but we're forcing out the Zealot because of the threat of a proxy. Shameless still does expand. Still does expand, thankfully. CC on the high ground. CC on the high ground. Zealot does pop out. And Shameless will confirm that... Oh, never mind. It doesn't go back into the main. Pulls away. Marine is revealed. Now he knows. Yeah, the revelation of that Marine reveals that the Rax was on Percival's side of the map. And now Shameless knows that, I wasted time, wasted resources on the Zealot. So with that, we're settling in, and Percival does have a nice little cheeky start here. Bunker is on the way. Oh, hello. As for the first time, Shameless has a really big deviation. That is a Robo, not a Twilight Council or a Stargate. So when it comes to this matchup, there are 3 different tech paths: Robo Openers, Twilight Council, or Stargate. Here, Robo is on the way. This is typically indicative. I mean, this can be one of 2 things here. We can be aggressive early on with a War Prism. You can get a Prism, you can warp in some Adepts and Stalkers, move out across the map, and deal early economic damage. That is true. Otherwise, you can play very safe, go for an early Immortal, go for a Bait, and go for early Colossus production. Based on the rally, it looks like the Prism. Looks like War Prism first to harass at least, but then can be followed by Colossus play. go. Prism is rallied. I'm hoping that Shameless doesn't come across the Marines when he moves out. As Percival has no idea, by the way. Percival, he has no idea as to the tech of choice. Marines are in position to what looks to be deny a hallucination scout. Shameless does commit. As Shameless moves out, Marines are moving in.
Who wants some?
Yeah, it does reinforce and does re-rally here at the ramp. But last Percival, because he's at the ramp, he will actually miss the prism. It barely does miss it. If he actually kept pushing forward, he would have spotted it as well. Yeah, as Percival, he's going to rally everything across the map. Hyper aggressive build here by Percival, going for the early tank drop, and we're going to be in a really weird kind of game state here. We're going for a pseudo-base trade. Yeah, Stalkers into the main base. At the same time, Percival, he sends everything across the map. Was there a home to defend? Nothing. Okay, one immortal. There's going to be one immortal to defend, potentially. No, not even. The immortal just began. Percival is going in, takes down the gateway. Voids are being pulled to defend. A lot of SCV is going to be going down. And Percival, we have to send it. We have to go further in. The immortal's halfway done. Yeah, the immortal's halfway. There we go. Now he's going into the main. He's got to keep pushing. He'll siege up the natural. Takes down the pylon. There's a recall. Does force a recall. Marines, they try to get onto the prism. Immortal has arrived. Tank is yet too. It's close. It's too close. It's too close to the ramp. Tank goes down instantly. Probes is still falling though. It's going to be 10 probe kills. The prism! No! Prism gets away. Oh, he wants it. He wants the prism. Drops the Marines, but barely does not get it. Prism gets out. And with that, we have a very shaky start here. Shameless does have the stronger lead though. As the Minovac does boost away. Just barely. And now we can take a moment, now we can take stock. Percival back at home, 20 workers, 20 SCVs with mules. Meanwhile, Shameless on 38. He has a very comfortable 2-base economy here. Shameless has a greater economy, even expanding and taking a 3rd base, and Percival, he is behind. So for the first time this series, after the early game, Shameless is in a better position. He's in a better position here. Now with this, we can go into Colossal production. Now what is scary about this start is that Percival has the potential to turn this into a 2-base all-in. He can 2-base all-in. The problem though, if he does go for a 2-base all-in, he's going to be pushing into Colossus. Like the Colossus is going to be ready so quickly this game because of the Robo Opener. The Colossus and the Immortals as well. So this is just a really safe start out of Shameless. Oh, snipes the medevac. Does catch the Marines. And we have the answer for Percival, not a 2-base all-in, 3rd CC. So he's going to try to get into a 3rd CC. He's going to try to play out a macro game from here. But again, for the first time this series, Shameless is going to be able to get into the mid game from a greater position, from more of an advantage. Okay. So again, the ball is in Shameless's court. This is kind of best case scenario to extend the series. This is it. This is Shameless's moment. Getting to charge, +1, gateway explosion, 4th nexus. Yeah, the question becomes, does Shameless push on 3 bases, or does he just back off, expand, and let a macro game? We're looking to expand. Setting up spotter pylons. How many gates? Getting her to 8. 8 gateways, 4 gases. There's that 4th nexus. And really, there's no reason for Shameless to be aggressive and active until Percival expands. When Percival tries to take a third base, that's when Shameless can try to apply pressure and break the third. But even then, here on Tokamak, it is much more defendable. It is more difficult to break a 4-basing player, so we might just max. We'll see. Yes, here comes Shameless. He's moving out. Again, he has a very comfortable supply lead. And it's not going to be an easy hold here for Percival. He does throw down a wall. Bunkers, depots. Turret as well. We'll see if Percival can make a stand. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, here comes Shameless. Oh, nice tank shots. Nice tank boys here on the Zealots at least. First Viking has arrived. Okay. Chipping away at the Colossus. Percival, he's holding on. Liberation has arrived. Now Percival, can he successfully turtle up on 4 bases? Not 3. Can he get a 4th? Can he get a 4th base up and running? Can he turtle up and max out? This is the best map for that. As we mentioned before, Tokamak is known for longer and later games, and Shameless, he has decided he cannot break Percival. Stargate. Stargate, +1 air attack into Fleet Beacon. Looks like we're working towards Sky Toss. And I'm not opposed to this decision specifically on this map. As we mentioned, like again, this map is more favorable towards turtling up on 4 bases. So Shameless, he may have just decided, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. I don't want to risk failing to break a defending a turtling Terran. So I may as well just take up 2nd Stargates on the way. Yep, there's a Fleet Beacon. Stargate explosion. And may as well just race and take into Sky Toss. Into the perfect late game composition. So if you're in the chat, strap yourselves in. We're gonna now is the time. Put the kettle on, boil some water, get some snacks. As I believe Shameless should not be pushing in. He should not try. Like, I mean, look at this. We got what, like 6 tanks, 2 liberators. We got bunkers as well. Sim City. The last thing Shameless wants to do is push into this. And we should be seeing a very similar setup here from Percival at his 4th location as well. So Shameless should just back off and max. Carrier production has begun. So we're getting into a handful of carriers. Percival is finding some damage. Now, what Percival needs to do as he scouts the main army, he needs to scan. If he can scan and figure out what's happening, right now the problem is that he has no idea the Sky Toss is coming. Otherwise, he would be throwing down additional starports, right? We need a 2nd, a 3rd starport. Need to get into more Vikings, more anti-air. But again, Percival, he has no idea. So we're going to get into the position here where both armies could max out, but one is not quite like the other, right? The soup does lie. Comes down to the composition, comes down to the quality of the army, not just the supply itself. This Percival stems in, he wants the High Templar. Oh, he gets 1. He gets 1. Does he get 2? Just 1. As he tanked all the storms. What was that? 6 Marines? Give us the update. There we go. 7. 7 Marines for 1 High Templar. And for 3 Storms. That's not a bad trade for Percival. With 7 Marines. But I believe he failed to scout.
Ghost reporting.
Not just referring to the main base, but I believe he failed to see the main army. I believe he has yet to confirm the Sky Toss. Checking the production. Yep, only 1 starport. Still only 1 starport. Main army's moving in. Percival, he now confirms. Yeah, now he sees. Yeah, now he sees, now he knows. Carriers are revealed. Ghost going down, getting 1, getting 2, getting 3 ghosts. Ooh, just barely 3. 3 ghosts to go down. Brutal Pigos, Vikings, they do punish the carriers at least somewhat. Yeah, very nice positioning here from Percival. Oh my god, brutal EMPs! EMPs that catch out of the High Templar, 0 storms. Better engaged here by Percival. The tanks that were shelling away. EMPs popping off. Vikings, they can now chase down the carriers. Gets 1. Gets 1, now going for another. Oof. Does overextend. Yeah, Percival's gonna back up. The back up, gonna calm down. But overall, this has just been better engagements out of the Terran. And again, there's still 0 storms. Oh, the carriers overextend. Yeah, losing 1. Losing 1 carrier. Down to how many? Down to 4. Shameless looking for a way in. Oh, may lose another carrier. Another carrier goes down. Army kites back, and Shameless were overextending here. Losing another, get down to 2 carriers. Yeah, 2 carriers left, but he's running out of Vikings here. Running out of Vikings here. And Shameless looks like he may just have enough. And we spoke earlier, there's no second starport. No second starport. Without Viking production, you just cannot keep up. Whew. And Shameless breaks through. Shameless, he breaks through. Again, Percival, he almost recovered, but again, he just had such a massive deficit at the start of the game. GG gets called, and Shameless, he will fight back. He does put a point on the board. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, it was a very, very rough start for Percival. This was the first game where the early game went in favor of the Protoss, went in favor of Shameless. Winding it back, if you recall, we did see both armies miss each other. Percival, he bled out so many workers. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a pseudo-base trade, and because of the recall available, we were able to recall back home. Minimal losses for Shameless. Percival, his economy was crippled. We saw almost a 20 worker disparity between the 2 players in the early game, and Shameless took a massive lead, a massive advantage. That's why Shameless was able to freely tech up into Skytoss. Because of that massive lead in the early game, Percival, just a little bit too excited, a little bit too overly aggressive, gets punished for it. Does get punished for it. GG, well played. With that, Percival does fight back, and now we're getting into game number 4. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. And again, Percival, he had some nice moments, towards the end of that game, but he was just so far behind. He shouldn't have recovered in that game, and he almost did, which was impressive. For sure. And so here we go, we're getting to our next game. We're going to be loading into Ultra Love. And Shameless, he does have a little bit of momentum here. Can he keep this up? Can he keep this going? Can he bring us all the way to the ace match? Personally, I hope so. I hope so. Give us a game 5, baby. Give us a game 5. So we're loading into Ultra Love. Ultra Love being one of the smaller maps in the map pool, and spawning in the top right hand corner. Top right hand corner here of Ultra Love, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss himself fighting back, putting a point on the board. He does have momentum, and can he keep that momentum going? Can he force the ace match for Team Little Fairy? It is Shameless. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran, the South Korean Terran, leading the series 2-1 and 1 game away from claiming the series. It is Percival. Ooh, and a cheeky start here out of our Protoss because Shameless is setting up for a proxy gateway. Pylon is going to be thrown down. Now, something, I don't know if you noticed, something that has been happening for the past 2 games specifically. Percival has been going for economic openers. We have been seeing racks expands for the past 2 games in a row. So I do like the idea, if Shameless has noticed, I'm sure he has, to try to punish that. 2 gate opening. 2 gate opener out of Shameless. Speaking of, racks expand out of Percival. Now, we'll see if Percival does scout. It is not uncommon to go for an SCV scout specifically to check for proxies. Not to SCV scout across the map. So we'll see if Percival does check his nearby proxy locations. Oh, he is. Ah, no, he's going across the map. Wow, he's checking across the map instead. He does not scout the 3rd. Percival's getting ready for his CC. The gateways are finishing up. And there it is. Command center is on the way. Double Zealot here from Shameless. Now, what is the goal of this build? Well, of course, to end the game, but to get on top of the CC to force a cancel to snowball out of control. Again, Percival has a late factory across the map. He scouts, he sees gateways are missing. He knows. Bunker instantly gets thrown down on the high ground, and does he just cancel immediately? Does he try to save it? Ah, he doesn't cancel. He doesn't cancel. He wants to save the CC. Bold move. Bold move. Yeah, there it is. It's a bit of a late cancellation, but again, he cannot defend it. Like, there's no shot. There's no shot he can defend it. And again, a late... There's no factory. Like, there's no factory, period. Zelsa moving in. Stalkers are on the way. It's already a nice start for Shameless. I mean, it would have been better if this went unscouted. If there was no scout across the map. Reaper gets into the mineral line. Oh no, gets surrounded. Nice moves out of Shameless. Ay, ay, ay. Surrounds the Reaper with the boys. Reaper gets 1 probe kill. Stalkers move in. He's going for the depot. Oh, zoning away the SCVs. Zone away, gets 1. 1 SCV goes down, gets 2. 2 SCV kills. Adepts are on the way. The purpose of the Adepts are to provide shades. Shades do provide high ground vision, so you can attack without losing any HP on the units. And there's going to be about 4 Marines. 4 Marines to defend. Tech Lab is still on the way, still finishing up. Shameless does expand. And we'll see if Shameless can get the depots. We'll see if he can get into the main. A little bit of miscontrol there. Bleeds out some HP. As we should be staggering those shades. Yep, there we go. But overall, Percival defends. Percival does defend. He does save both depots. He's fine. Percival, he is fine. And with that, the game will continue. Of course, it was a shaky start for Percival, but it's not like Shameless didn't have to invest into this. As when Percival breaks out, Shameless will lose both gateways. He'll lose 2 gateways and a pylon. Because the breakout is coming. It is coming. Oh, catches the Stalker. Nice control here by Percival. Stalker goes down. And he wants a second Stalker. Oh no! Oh my god, barely gets away. Whew. Shameless, he barely pulls back. Going for another warp in. Shameless still trying to break that natural. Going for the medevac. Ugh, bleeds out a little Stalkers though. Medevac goes down, but at the cost of 2 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers! Oh god. 3 Stalkers go down, tank has arrived, and Percival he holds. He holds onto the base, holds onto the natural. Oof, losing another Stalker. And again, Percival he has held. Shameless behind this working towards Blink. Blink is on the way, but again, Blink is heavily delayed. He's getting extra gateways. Eventually has to expand. The game will continue, but I'm preferring Percival's position here. His economy is solid. His defenses as well. Ooh, that is 2 more gates. So Shameless is getting up to 3 gates, but of course, this is really, what, like a 4th and 5th gateway? Followed by the 3rd. No 2 base all in. Okay. Shameless is expanding. And Percival, he does take a lead. His own third base is on the way. It's actually on par with the third base of Shameless. That should not be happening. And this is going to be a brutal stim timing as well. Stim, combat shields +1. It's going to hit quite hard. Also, as an update, the sun has risen. The sun is up, papi. Ah. It is 6 a.m. in the morning here. Sun is up. For those who don't know, it's spring. It's spring here in Australia, so sun rises early, sets late. It sets at like 8 p.m. It's crazy. 8 p.m. sunset. Sun rises just in time for bed. True, true. Oh, God. As Percival, he sneaks out. Yeah, barely does sneak out. He hugs the edge of the map. He sucks it in. He breaks out. Shameless, none the wiser. Behind the Shameless going for a gateway composition, getting into charge. Shameless, he spots the main army, but really this is a distraction. At the same time, double drop into the main. Shameless out of position. He does force a recall. Recall is forced, such as the pylon does not go down. Oh, sorry, does go down. He denies the warp in. Shameless trying to keep up with the main army as well. Tanks do siege. Baits him into siege range. Not bad. And Percival kites back. Cleans up some of the zealots, dropping the main base, still popping off, snipes the cyber core, brutal pickoff. And Shameless is being pulled apart. He's being pulled apart here. Percival snowballing out of control. Now killing probes, getting economic damage. The main army is still standing strong as well. Still in the center, and this is just too much. Far too much. 9 probe kills. 9 probes go down. And Percival is still not done. He's not done. Bappy behind this, getting his third base up and running. Ghost Academy is on the way. Taking up into Ghost, taking up into EMPs. Bearing in mind that Shameless has 0 splash damage. There's no Colossus, there's no Storm. He's not there yet. He needs time. He needs more time, Bappy. Time that he does not have. Again, it's been behind economically for the entire game. His opener had to do more damage. His 2-gate opener, I mean. His proxy 2-gate. He had to do more. As Percival, he's just pushing to the natural. The Robo here has potential for immortal production, but it's about to go down as well. Up! Rates at the mine shots. Robo falls, 0 immortals. At this point, we just stim in. Oh, that's a lot of zealots though. True. Jeez, oh god. Brutal mine shots. The mine shots are brutal. Percival just waiting for his reinforcements. He's rallying in. Rushing past the charge lots. And again, without any kind of backbone to the army, without Immortals, Colossus, Storm, Disruptors, without any of that, there's nothing to stop a Percival. He can just keep going. He can just keep dropping, and we're going for the base trade. It's, oh god, what's the plan, Pappy? Whatever, I mean, there's no good answer. He recalls, partial recall back home. I mean, again, there's no good answer. GG gets called, and Percival, he will claim the series 3-1, becoming this month's Platinum StarCraft 2 League champion for the month of October 2025. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Percival for claiming this series. Shameless, he was able to hold his own. He was able to make a series out of it. Thankfully, that's all I wanted. No 3-0. No 3-0. Was a 3-1 instead. Shameless was able to pose a threat. And even here in game number 4, the opener wasn't looking too bad. It was lined up here. He was going proxy 2 gate. We had an economic start out of Percival, but because Percival went for the SCV scout across the map, he had the wherewithal to cancel, to throw down his bunker instantly on top of the ramp, and to pull off a nice defense. Yes, his natural was delayed, but it was also a really big investment for Shameless, which did set him behind as well. And what did he get done with it? He didn't kill a depot. He killed 3 SCVs, I think it was 3 SCV kills, and that is it. Not good enough, not good enough. In the follow-up of that as well, he bled out a lot of units in the attempt to push into the natural. He bled out Stalkers, bled out Zealots. We did see Percival take some better trades with his Cyclone, and he snowballed out of control from there with his drop play, with his macro, with his economy. GG. GG, well played, as Shameless did fall behind. And with that, congratulations to Percival. And again, a shout out to those working behind the scenes. Shout out to those working over in Platinum Esports and Platinum Heroes for organizing, hosting, and funding this event. For those that don't remember, a little bit of a backstory to this tournament series. If you remember, Platinum Heroes, they used to invest quite heavily into their pro team. They had a big roster. They had arguably one of the biggest rosters in StarCraft, until WTL went on hiatus, right? World Team League went on a big hiatus. A potential return, of course, we did discuss this earlier during the podcast when it comes to the return of the Chinese server and the influx of support to the Chinese scene with the return of Kung Fu Cup and with SE Boy stepping up as well. So I mean, there's at least Kung Fu Cup returning, you know, rumors about WTL, they're just rumors really. But unfortunately, because of WTL going on a hiatus, it did, of course, mean that Platinum Heroes, they couldn't really support a pro roster as large as they used to have. Like, they couldn't really support it, but instead they still had, of course, some resources to work with. What did? They put that money towards tournaments instead. So instead of having the salary for pro players, they instead have these open cups to support the greater scene and the greater community, the greater StarCraft scene. So much love to those working over in Platinum Heroes and Platinum Esports, kind of one and the same, for running this event on a regular basis and leading into an end of year finals as well. Leading into those finals, again, we've had monthly tournaments for the past 7 months. We'll have another next month coming into November, and it all leads into the end of year finals. And again, a big shout to Rotterdam and some of the other community casters. I believe Dave Testa also did a month as well, but again, depending on who's available, we have different casters. We haven't casted all of the monthlies. We've casted some, others by Rotterdam, others by Dave, and potentially other community casters getting involved as well. So big shout out to the Platinum Boys, big shout out. And with that, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. Congratulations to Percival. And also, very quickly, if you want to support this tournament, if you want to support these players, !Matcherino, !Matcherino in the chat, and you will get a link to the Matcherino page where you can help support the tournament if you so wish. Otherwise, watching and tuning in is all that we ask for. Thank you so much. Again, the Matcherino page is available. Also, did I not open predictions for the finals? No shot. No, I did it. Thank God. Thank God I did. But yes, so you can help support via Matcherino. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thank you so much. WTL return. We need a CranKy Ducklings team for the next WTL. Caribbean, papi, Caribbean. we already had our roster in WTL in the past. Okay, we already have our mark in the World Team League history of CranKy Ducklings. It's already happened, and we're good with that. We're also similar in a sense where we no longer support our pro roster. We instead invest into tournaments, of course, and running events. It's similar to the Platinum Boys. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. If you want to tune into some more StarCraft, then ! Socials in the chat. We do stream on a daily basis here on the CranKy Ducklings every single day. We cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there, more StarCraft than Wardy, more StarCraft than Steadfast, more StarCraft than anyone else in the scene. We have the quantity and we have a little bit of the quality as well. As you can see, when it comes to our schedule, we're going to be live. We should be live later on this afternoon with what? With the Revival StarCraft League qualifiers, the RSL qualifiers. We have I believe that's the Americas qualifier coming up. That's going to be at 1 p.m. AST. That's going to be at 11 a.m. AST. It's in like 6 hours. In around 6 hours time, we're going to be live. We should be live with the next tournament. I say should be because the cast is in 6 hours. Ideally, I wake up like at least an hour before that. So I've got 4 hours to sleep. We got 4 hours of sleep. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to try to sleep and pass out and get as much sleep as I can in the lead up to the RSL. Hopefully, I wake up in time to cast it. Then after the Americas qualifier, we go to bed, we wake up, we have the Korean qualifier or the Asia qualifier, and then we have a Tuna Cup on Sunday, and we have the European qualifier after Tuna Cup. So there's a lot of content over the weekend. RSL qualifiers, Tuna Cup, alongside the new Crank Team League, or the Team Invitational. Speaking of Team League, if you hadn't heard, if you were unaware, if you don't watch the podcast, for those who don't know, we do host a regular talk show every single week where we discuss all things StarCraft. But this upcoming week, Crank, J1 Choi, we attribute his name with the Cranky Ducklings, of course. But Crank, he has been sponsored by Chijik, by the Korean streaming platform, and Crank is going to be organizing an invitational, inviting the best teams in StarCraft into a big group stage, into a big playoff event, basically a week-long tournament full of Team League matches, featuring Team Falcons, Team Vitality, featuring Basilisk, Shopify Rebellion, Team Liquid, and Streamer Zone. I think it's those 6 teams. I think it's those 6 teams have been invited and are going to be a part of that tournament. Again, it's a big, like, 6-day invitational, and we are going to be casting that next week via replays. For those that are curious as to why it's going to be a replay cast, technically, we do have permission to cast it live. True, we do have permission. But because the event is sponsored by Chijik, it means that it has to be streamed on Chijik. If you don't know, Chijik is basically, it's like a competitor to Afrika TV. Afrika TV is like a Korean streaming platform, kind of like Twitch. Think of like Twitch, think of like Kick, but over in Korea. The reason for this is, of course, Twitch, they no longer support the Korean scene. They no longer support any Korean servers or streamers. So because that, when Twitch pulled out of Korea, they had to bring up and prop up a bunch of their own streaming platforms. So that's when we had Chijik. Chijik did rise up. I think there's like a Kakao streaming platform alongside Afrika TV as well. So they and Chijik, they have been actually sponsoring a lot of StarCraft tournaments, but of course, with their sponsored tournaments, it is exclusive to streaming on their platform. And we do have an account. We have streamed on their platform before, but the reality is we don't really get a lot of viewership. As you can imagine, not a lot of people know about the site and are willing to try out the site either. It also has some routing issues, so kind of like Afrika, if you're in Europe, you can get a lot of lag. You can get a lot of lag trying to watch it live, which is less than ideal. And when we used to stream on Chijik for events like this, we wouldn't really get a lot of viewership. A lot of people wouldn't really pay attention, and it'd be a little bit disheartening because we'd do the live cast, and then like Wardy would go live with replays like the next day, and we get all the viewership because no one was watching it live anyway. They just watched the replay cast. So it's like, we may as well do the same. May as well just screw the live cast. We'll just do replays, and we get more eyes on us anyway if we do that. So that'll be the plan. So we're going to be doing a bunch of, when I say replay cast as well, it'll be like maybe 24 hours later, or maybe less, like 20 hours later. But after the games do conclude, we'll be having those replay casts, and that'll be throughout the course of the week. That'll be throughout the course of Monday to, I think, Sunday. Jesus, so a full week of Team League StarCraft. Let's go, papi, let's go. It's all good. It's all good. Take care, but yes, it's time for bed. It's time for bed. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for support. Again, it's going to be a really intense week for us with RSL and with Crank's Chijik tournament as well. So it's going to be a lot of StarCraft, a lot of content. If you haven't seen the page for it, it is the Crank Gatherers. One momento. I'll show it off to you guys if you haven't been tuning in. Meanwhile, big shout out. Thank you so much, Stan. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. 5 gifted subs to the community, to Means Horns, to Spectre, to Jardozer, to I Am Mr. Wiggles, and to Delphinic Star as well. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. I Stan. Thank you. Always do appreciate the support. Always, Papi. Always. But just so you guys can see. Bam, there we go. I'll clean it up for you guys. But this is the Crank Gatherers Season 2, and again we have all the invited teams. Here we have Basilisk featuring Rainer, Roddy, Cyril, and Trigger. We have Shopify with Björn, Harsum, Lambert, Scarlet. We have Streamer Zone with the biggest roster, with Baby Marine, Gerald, Jumi, Lunacy, Nightmare, Quanta, SOS. We got Team Liquid, and we have Team Vitality as well, and Team Falcons. Team Falcons, it's off to the side. But again, these are going to be the 6 competing teams, and as you can see here, it is a full week event. Day 1 is going to be the 27th of October, again in 2 days. In 2 days time, we have Basilisk versus Streamer Zone. We already have the lineups. Oh my god, we already have the lineups here actually. We have Cyril versus Jumi, Trigger versus Nightmare. We have they feature 2v2s. 2v2, Cyril and Trigger versus Nightmare and SOS, and we have Rainer versus Gerald. So again, it is Pro League format where the lineups are already revealed ahead of time, and there's even a 2v2 portion as well. Love to see it. We have Team Liquid versus Shopify. That's going to be Clem versus Lambo, Cure versus Björn. We have Cure and Skillus as the duo, not the team that I was expecting. We have Harsum and Lambo. They're going to be the Harambo duo. Let's go. Skills versus Harsum as well towards the end. We have Vitality versus Team Falcons, with Zound versus Rogue, Ryung versus Bunny, and we have Maru and Ryung teaming up together. Let's go. In the 2v2, and Maru versus Solar in that final game. And then we have the group stage after that. So we have the preliminary round for seeding purposes to make it through. Then we have the group stage with the final teams, and then we have the playoffs as well. So again, preliminary round into group stage into final playoffs. And again, this will last the entire week of StarCraft. It's gonna be crazy, baby. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be ending on the 1st of November. And again, we'll be covering it ourselves. I mean, you can even see it here. You see streams, official stream, CranKy Ducklings, replays, Wardy replays. So at least ourselves and Wardy are going to be casting via replays. And again, we'll be casting like 24 hours after like each of the matches actually takes place. As a heads up. There we are. So yeah, that is going to be next week. It's been so long since we've had team leagues. It's since we've had like team tournaments like this. It's gonna be amazing, man. It's gonna be amazing. Otherwise, thank you so much for the bits in the chat as well. To iStan, thank you so much. iStan for the 1,000 bits. Gracias, papi, gracias. Do appreciate it. Thanks for everything. We'll try to continue from now on to follow more closely. Thank you, Damn Leon. Thank you. Oh, Adam Leon. Adam Lion even. But thank you so much. Do appreciate it. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I don't think many people are aware of this event that's happening next week. It's a pretty big event, a massive prize pool. All the big teams are going to be competing, of course, and we'll be covering it via replays here on this channel. We'll be covering it via replays. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And again, you can follow us on all the socials. Follow us on YouTube. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis. So if you see something that you want to watch, but you can't watch it live, check it out on YouTube. YouTube is the place to be. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Again, we should be live in around 6 hours if I can wake up in time. I'm going to get passed out, try to sleep as much as I can, and then get some breakfast, and then to freshen up and get ready. See you in 6-ish hours. Hopefully. See you then. Ciao. Happy ciao. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys over the weekend for some more StarCraft.